They'd play the NRG lineups and they were doing well, but the key thing was they were always losing those big games. They were always on the wrong side. So yeah, it was like a moral victory. But eventually, if you want to be the best team, you have to actually win those games as well. That's the difference. Here, they have closed out. In the playoffs, they haven't lost a map yet. I think that streak is now up to something like, wasn't it 16?
I think it's 7 straight best of threes.
7 straight best of threes in a row in major playoffs. So in that sense, they're back. Like they've gotten back that massive advantage when they get into bracket play. They're the guys who don't drop a map. They even win your map. And as a result, that's always a question you have to ask is, if you're the opponent, you know that, what is your map pick? Like usually I would say in this scenario, you want to go with something crazy. You want to try and throw a wrench in the works, as it were. You don't want to just go to comfort because they beat you on comfort.
Yeah, and we have, of course, the players on our screens. Chad, why don't you walk us through these boys?
James, of course, everybody knows him for being an amazing AWPer, but Kick It here, his mentality so far and the way that he's stayed poised in certain situations, he's been a huge factor so far for AVANGAR. Sanji, he's stepped up when he's needed to. Quiet achiever, but as this tournament's gone on, he's gotten better and better. Buster, not a name, you know, oh, it's a Dren before Buster. I was a little bit wrong there, but a Dren, the veteran. Major MVP previously, the only member of this team to be in a major final. And then Buster, there's the man on your screen. No, his name doesn't come up a lot,
pretty
but
nice stats.
his
Kicker described Buster as the best player he's played with.
Wow.
He's better than, Kicker said he's better than he is.
okay.
So he just straight admitted it. He's an insane mechanical player.
And those mechanics have got them so far. Every time you watch an AVANGAR, the post-match highlights, every name shows up with some form of multi-kill hero round. It has been consistently available that all of the players from AVANGAR have stepped up against the world's best.
And that's where they thrive, right? Those 3 kills, the 2-kill rounds in the chaos, in the smokes, you know, half blind. They're so good in those chaotic situations. They seem to remain calm, and everything is moving at a slow pace when you watch them. Their T-sides are very slow and thought out. It doesn't give the players much, you know, much to worry about because they're moving so slow throughout the map, and they thrive in that situation.
Yeah, taking a look at the map stats for Astralis on your screens. Of course, the veto's yet to be locked in, so keep that one in mind. And on jumping off the page, you can see there are some clear strengths that actually you've been hesitant to lock into these statistics before. There's a reason for that, Duncan. You've seen Astralis thrive on other
those numbers
maps.
weren't there at the beginning of the tournament.
Well,
yeah, they've leveled up their nuke. They've obviously gotten their vertical, so now it's pretty scary. Overpass was a map that was supposed to be dropping off for them. I mean, you look across the board, Inferno's still amazing. Right, okay, so we got here Device, one of the greatest players of all time. Becomes even better when he transforms into Devi. The name Valve wanted nobody to call him. Then we've got Glaive here, the mastermind. He understands the game. He was back with Pimp in 2013. He's still one of the best now. Where's Pimp at? Exactly what a monster Glaive is. Then you've got Dupree. He changed his hair, changed his game a little bit. He's looking smooth. The stats haven't been so crazy for this one, but he's an entry player. We all know they do the hard work. And then there he is, the Counter-Strike computer. He's just typing in the code there. He diffuses all the bombs. He outwits all the guys. He's the one that all the ladies want to be with. And finally, we've got Magisk. He's got a nice round head. He's got an all-around game as well. And it's beautiful.
I'm telling you now, that was a spanner. I just threw a complete curveball your way, and you are running with it. But yes, we do see Astralis. Magisk Boy, of course, was somewhat of the catalyst into starting their run, but so long now a staple of that roster. And actually, a staple of their roster did something I've never seen before yesterday. Device, with his filthy start to the NRG game. There is power in the ranks of Astralis.
Dave Newell, can we please have a graffiti on that wall? Because that is absolutely... Listen, if Olafmeister diffusing a bomb in a Molotov and just not die until the bomb diffuses, I'm pretty sure Device deserves a graffiti for that. Come on.
And for those that weren't watching, it was 3 frags in 3 bullets with 3 HP. All fighting him at the same time.
That is a commentator's wet dream, right?
And that would have been a game changer if he loses that round as well. If NRG starts that pistol at that T-half with the first round, we might have seen 3 maps, who knows?
We sat at the analyst desk and Sean says, yeah, you know, I think the turning point of that game was Device's clutch. And I took a moment, I'm sitting there like, that was round 1!
He's right though.
I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, to get a round like that against a young team like Energy, that had to take them right out the gate.
That was like, welcome to the major, boys.
Yeah.
I think something to note here as well, we are talking a lot about Device, previous major MVP in the running for a second, and it is his birthday. We've already stated that here today. It's hard to see these guys being stopped. Magisk as well, we've got him on the screen.
Absolutely.
He's been a major MVP as well. So we have 3 major MVPs in the server today, which is quite the number.
And actually, I took a look at Petter's tweet. He's just got all the numbers on his screen from HLTV, and he told me that, or he said that James is also the front runner. Should he continue this performance? Should they really complete this fairy tale ending? We could see James taking that MVP title, and I mean, he certainly has put in a performance justified of that.
I don't think that's unreasonable. I mean, he is so integral to how they play. He seems to actually have a lot of impact in deciding what they do in the games. And for all the criticism, he has not let them down at any phase of this tournament so far. Like, you're supposed to have a bad game every now and then when you haven't been at the top.
But what interests me about James is he was taking battles against the other team's Opper a lot in the matches that we watched him play, and he was very, very successful in those duels. I don't think Device offers those duels up as much as some of the other Oppers. He's very passive. He takes his, his shots against riflers who don't really have a chance back to fight back.
When you're watching him on his A-game, it does just feel like it looks so easy. People just walk in. He's holding the line, and it's the right line, and he's safe, and someone dies. That seems to be the Device way of doing things. And the way you guys tend to do things is talking about the veto. Now, for those newer to Counter-Strike, 7 maps in the pool. Newest addition is Vertigo, which Astralis threw somewhat of a spanner in the works of their opponent's Team Liquid.
This one may as be 5, right? We may as well not even talk about the 7 here because we're not going to be seeing any nuke. That one's not going to come on out, and I assume Astralis will probably just get rid of Mirage like they have been doing for the rest of the tournament. So now it leans towards the picks, and this is where it's up in the air because since Astralis have shown a very strong form on Overpass, I thought maybe after we saw AVANGAR beat Liquid on it, it could be a map to crop up. But now Astralis are looking really hot on that map. It might air them away to something like a Dust 2.
Out of the 5 remaining maps, both teams have won on their runs on all of them besides AVANGAR winning on Train.
I haven't seen it.
That was the only map they lost to, and that was Energy on Train.
Which I have to say, listen, it's one of the maps they traditionally liked. After seeing how Astralis has played it, people have been able to be competitive with them on Train. They've shown some holes when they've been over on both sides, depending on what the game is. So if you want a surprise pick that they don't expect, I don't mind that as the pick for AVANGAR.
I would think AVANGAR is going to go towards Dust 2, right? We've seen Astralis, exude some weakness, I guess. They've shown a little bit of weakness on that. And there's the Mirage ban coming out of Astralis. And I'm sure we're going to see that.
If Astralis really want to punish the Vanguard guys, though, you just say, here's Vertigo. Enjoy, let's play.
God, but imagine that. Imagine the story that could unfold there if AVANGAR have done their homework.
We've seen them play against Renegades, and they were quite good. They won that game.
Yeah, look, I'm going to take that game with a grain of salt in the sense of the way they got across the line was, I think, a lot of Renegades' mistakes, and it looked to me like the old meta was coming out. Now, just to note with Inferno, this is a map that AVANGAR have been happy to pick. It's a map that they're more than happy to play. So that first one, I think the smile on the face will kick it there.
I think Astralis done them a favour there.
Yeah.
And it is the Dust 2.
I think Astralis is the best team in the world on Inferno, and I think they have been for a long, long time.
Overpass decider then, logically, you'd figure, there we go, and then, like, do you really want to play Train in this scenario? I think personally, if you're going to pick Inferno, it implies you will go into comfort yourself. So why not get Overpass as the 3rd? You can play all 3 in theory.
Yeah, Vanguard, no complaints. They get allowed to veto Vertigo. Bye-bye Train. It was the Danes to choose. And so are 3. It starts Inferno, Dust 2, and Overpass.
Fun fact about Astralis, they picked 3 different maps so far in this champion stage.
That is a spicy one. On the stage, every pick is different. Overpass, we've seen them pick Vertigo, and now Inferno for the grand final. Take a look at the stats as well. You were saying, Chad, this is not a strange territory for AVANGAR.
No, but some of their victories, right? If you look at that G2 one, G2 were pathetic at holding the B bomb site. All that happened was AVANGAR got banana control. Maybe they had 3 players left alive, and they were still able to execute like 3-on-4, 3-on-5, and then have a lot of success on that bomb site. The Vitality one is a lot more telling, right? Because we saw the Vitality form, and it wasn't even great, right? It was Zywoo showed up for that map, and only that map, really. So this here is one where I know that Astralis can punish them with the utility. They can get the early picks. They're very, innovative in the way that they move around this map. And they were the ones who first showed us how powerful the utility can be in Banana.
This is the only map that didn't betray Astralis, even when they went into the down period and wasn't so good. So this is a real good chance to start this final 1-0.
Look, I'm going to say this. Astralis is probably going to start on their T side, right? Glaive is always the one fighting for banana control. But what you really should look out for is AVANGAR's bomb site stacks. Their CT sides are very, very difficult to read. Randomly, they'll have 4 people at the B bomb site or 4 people at the A bomb site.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And people talk about the major and they talk about the prestige. Stunner's done a fantastic job of setting the scene there. But I think there is no better, let's think, counsel to talk about Counter-Strike, its impact, and what the major means than the players themselves. So sit back, relax, and let's reflect on what Counter-Strike means to the human beings that have dedicated their lives to it.
The major, that's the tournament, that's the king of all tournaments, that's the crown.
It's just the biggest event. Everyone knows it, and everyone wants to get in there.
The best achievement you can get in Counter-Strike.
I think everyone on the team is playing for the title.
Winning that is the best thing that you can win. So it's not about the money, it's not about the rankings. When it comes to the major, it's only about winning it.
You have no excuses for not going far at a major. Everyone really wants to win this tournament.
I think everyone's being like, hey, we want to be major champions.
Очень горд представлять Казахстан на международной арене, потому что вся страна смотрит на эту индустрию новыми глазами.
Титул чемпионов мейджора значит гораздо больше, чем те деньги, которые ты можешь выиграть.
The money's not all it is, and I think it's just like it's all the best teams in the world come together.
Players are labeled with majors. It is the most prestigious one you can get.
The reason why we play a major is to write history.
Winner of the major 2019. That it is great. It is a good thing, and you're going to be remembered now. You're in the books.
Everyone remembers who won which majors.
Just winning a major would be like the most special moment for my career, I think, personally, and everyone's #1 goal.
A few people that can actually do it, you know, and getting that title is the biggest thing that you can achieve in CSGO for now. As a coach, I would like to say to the winner of the major, congratulations, Renegades. You did it.
Well, I will say, first of all, great job, Alexi B, who finally did it.
To the champion of the Berlin Major 2019, I just want to say a huge congratulations. I know you've put in a great amount of work, all the teams you have, and you're obviously feeling amazing right now, being up there, being the champ, so credit to you.
Я хочу сказать будущему чемпиону, то, что ты проделал огромную работу, чтобы сделать это, и ты просто самый лучший. Наслаждайся этим моментом, потому что эти моменты, они бесценны.
Whoever wins this major probably wins, in my opinion, the toughest major of all time.
And so memory. It's a recurring trend in humanity. It's something we value, and it is about making those memories on the stage today, to be remembered. And of course, putting a 4th star next to the Astralis logo is certainly one way to do it for a Vanguard, the first, and a first out of left field completely. Either way this goes, memory is certainly going to be written on that stage and in this arena, Mercedes-Benz Arena. Of course, if you have just joined us, welcome. You're just in time for this party to start. We concluded the veto, and your observations did leave us on the edge of our seats. But Chad, that video, just talking a little bit about the fact that the major is more than the money, I think that's something that we've always thought, not often said.
It's really important because this, as you heard Trace at the start of the show say, is a celebration of Counter-Strike, right? We all look at this, we want it to be our World Cup, but look at all the people here. Everybody is turned on out to watch Counter-Strike. This is bringing people together. We had a chance today to do a signing session with all the fans. They'll have smiles on their faces. They're all here for the love of the game. That's the same reason we're here. That's the same reason the players here. That's the same reason people are sitting in a server for 12 hours a day. They go to school. That's what they obsess about. That's all they think about is this game. Yeah. And it's changed people's lives. And it's brought people together. And I think we're all better for this.
I couldn't agree anymore. And you know what? Speaking of the fans, why don't we hear just a couple more from them? It's over to James Banks and Tonya in the crowd.
It's grand final, baby! We all waited for this moment for such a long time. And I have only one question for you guys. Who is going to be the next major champion? Oh my God! Oh my God! James, what do you think about that?
It's going to be pretty hard for you guys to manage to challenge against the legendary and the historic Astralis. And these guys have been here all weekend. They've had an amazing time and they have been cheering non-stop. It is almost like they are coming from other sports like football and stuff like that. This is the CSGO Major. This is the final. Guys, are we ready for the final? Tonya, let's get this started.
I have one dedicated fan up here. I know that you have something to say to all the arena.
My friends, it is not James time. It is not Adrian time. It's AVANGAR time. Let's go!
Oh God, AVANGAR!
Oh, there's certainly some passion in the Mercedes-Benz Arena, there's no doubt about it, and no exception here on the analyst desk. We've got the vetoes. I know that gets you, that whets your appetite. Sean, starting with you, seeing Inferno as our first, your eyebrows raised that AVANGAR can compete. What are your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, these are all maps AVANGAR can play on, right? Yeah. They've picked these maps throughout the entire event, all 3 of them. So by no means are they out of this series, right? They just need to find a way to get into the same scenarios, those 3-on-3s, those 2-on-2s that I keep talking about. We've seen them thrive in those scenarios because of James' picks, because of Buster's aggressions. But I don't know how they're going to find openings on their T side. That's what I'm worried about. I'm confident they can do enough on their CT side.
Yeah.
It's their T sides that worry me.
I have a quick something I want to say, actually.
Drop in.
People are going to think, right, when Chad said, for example, they're not going to win, there's no chance it's 2-0. People are going to think, like, come on, why don't you set it up? Why don't you make it seem it's even? Because the whole point is, if AVANGAR do win this final, I want people to know they had no chance. These are the maps that Astralis is going to beat them on. They're not supposed to be here. They weren't supposed to win any of the matches. It will be the most epic upset of all time. So let's set the stage for that.
Yeah.
And in this match, to tie on what Sean said there, the guy who can win his equivalent position is Kicker, because Dupree's numbers you saw, they were pretty pedestrian actually. He had some good games in the playoffs, he played well against Team Liquid, but if he underperforms here, you've seen his device on the CT side has been what's been carrying Astralis. A big game from this guy on your screen right now, who could have been a Na'Vi and said, no thanks, I'm going with the Vanguard to the final. That could what can get you a map, and then that can get you in the series.
Seeing Buster on Inferno earlier in this tournament as well, there are very few players who look so tenacious to take banana control without very little support. He often is given that task on the T side alone and is brave as hell, especially when the partnership of Kickit shows up at a walk.
Good luck when you're facing get Zipix and Blade.
Okay.
They're going to be throwing a barrage of nades at you if you enter banana any time within the first 20 seconds of the round.
Astralis Inferno, often, it's described by analysts and not often explained why we say Astralis changed the meta, but specifically Inferno is one that we've seen a complete revolution.
It's because their utility usage was so good. People were very lackadaisical about how they would take territory and maps, and then once you have Astralis, they step on out and say, hey, well, we know that you're going to go here if we throw a Molotov, then you get double naded, then we're going to push you back with a smoke. You're isolated from your team, a flash comes out, they push. You've just lost a member. You haven't even had a chance to get into the round. What they've done on their CT sides is make this map so difficult for anyone to be aggressive in the early stages, and they force you where they want you to go. They'll pepper you in banana. You start going towards A. Well, guess what? They're playing two members quad side. You get shut down there. You want to rotate to arch side. The rotation's already coming. Astralis used to have this map completely covered. Now look, grand final, different situation. I don't want to go out there and say any given Sunday, because in my mind, this is Astralis, like I said, one hand on the trophy, and it should be a very swift 2-0 if it's the same team we saw yesterday and the day before. But these guys, they have lightning in a bottle. I don't know what it is this tournament so far for AVANGAR, but they've definitely caught it. Whatever's going right for them, whatever game plan they've been doing, if they do the same thing today, it can be competitive, it can be entertaining, we can give everybody a good show. But whether they can grab that trophy, it seems so unlikely.
I think the craziest statistic was during Astralis' ascension. At one point they did, actually, hang on, talking of stats, there's numbers on the screen. Take a look at those odds. Astralis clear favorites according to the bookkeepers of the major, GG.bet. Of course, you guys have been casting your fan vote onto the Strafe app, and a bit more love towards the AVANGAR camp there, a little bit of a 38% split. But that's on Strafe. You can install it on iOS and Google Play to see all your stats and brackets and all of that good stuff, the stuff that we throw in your faces. You can do so at your own leisure. It's time for Team Talk. Sonic on the mic for Astralis. He'll be talking them through their game plan, and there's often a game plan coming into games like this. The little bit of the expectation for the first opening 4 or 5 rounds. It's something that I find very interesting.
I even think Zonic's main job in this final is just keep people calm and keep them on point. Keep forgetting that it's a major final. Because listen, while yes, if I had to pick a team to play if I'm Astralis, I'd definitely pick a Vanguard out of the field here to play in a major final. Never been there before. Astralis was the underdog every other round. When they came against Team Liquid, that's the big team that was winning all the championships. NRG, you saw most of the people on the caster talent, etc., picked NRG to win that game. So this is the first time Astralis has been the favourite, and the most dangerous opponent sometimes is the one in your brain you already think you've beaten him at that point in time. You see many times in sports, the NBA is a great example. Someone gets an open shot and the defender doesn't rotate over. All of a sudden, everyone's looking like, that's an easy shot to make, right? You miss those sometimes. So, listen, that's getting ahead of us to some degree. But that's exactly the point, is if Astralis in their brain think they already won this game, I notice by the way they're talking, they're trying not to set that stage, then that's where it gets very, very dangerous.
Remember, this is the 4th time that these players have been here. They're so comfortable knowing they're in a major grand final. They've lifted the trophy before, plenty of times.
That is
You've
crazy.
already gone through those steps. You're not afraid of the team on the other side of the server. Sure, you're cautious, you need to be, but mentally you're so well prepared for this scenario. No one else in the world is this well prepared.
That's why I think this would be the biggest upset in major history, right? Not the FaZe Cloud9, because the FaZe guys, I mean, Kerrigan and Nico hadn't been there before. They had the nerves of the major final. Astralis has been here 3 times each. I mean, 4 times for most of them. I mean, they understand the pressure of this situation.
And you know, we saw in that video we just ran of the various players talking about what the major means to them, and it means, you know, being remembered in the game you've dedicated yourself to. Well, Astralis, they don't have the burden of this is my chance to be remembered, to be the major champion. That's done. Ship sailed. Now looking for their 4th in the cabinet, 3rd in a row. It's a completely different. It's the juxtaposition, the contrast between the two teams standing, or rather sitting on that stage in their secret lab chairs, might I add. It is going to be an interesting one, just seeing this contrast play out in front of us. Inferno, the first map. What are your expectations, Duncan?
I think this is a very, very good one for the Astralis guys. I think it's one of the maps. The reason why this was up there with Nuke for like their home map is everyone's position makes sense on the CT side. That's the dream if you play in any top team. You don't have that one player where it's like, we might have to cheat over on him a little bit, or, okay, maybe if it goes badly, we'll swap positions later. Like, they all know exactly where they're playing. It's perfect.
One of the good things with that is they don't really see the need to grab a double AWP on their CT side as well, because they just rotate the device around so efficiently. But, you know, something that I just want to touch on here, if Jane wants to save the AWP, right? If they're getting in struggle situations, he wants to save the AWP, I think that Astralis are not going to let him. They're going to be so thorough. They're going to chase him down. They're going to hunt him. They're going to make his life so difficult. That would be my goal. That would be my target. Make him squirm.
Astralis is the type of team that would probably look at demos and figure where Jane likes saving and nade those spots.
I can believe it. I can believe it. That's the nerd level that they'll go to.
Yeah, and I did never finish my story about the stats on Inferno. It was a whole tournament concluded with Astralis finishing with an average of 50 utility damage per round. A player limping at 50 HP at the end of a tournament on that map. That is just an absurd average, and something that AVANGAR are going to be playing up against. James going to try and keep hold of his AWP, and I'm going to try and keep hold of my excitement, because I've been told the game is on its way. Berlin, I love what you're doing. You look beautiful today, but I want to hear you scream. I want to hear you scream so loud. Put your hearts on your sleeves as you witness Counter-Strike history. Let's get the grand final started. It's Astralis, it's AVANGAR, it's Inferno. Let's get it on with Anders and Moses.
Yes, indeed. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Astralis versus AVANGAR. We're going to get this grand final underway. Inferno was the first map. Astralis is going to be starting on the T side, and also AVANGAR on the CT side. And best of 3 game coming up, Moses. Now the game is live!
Astralis sending 3 players into Banana, and there's 3 defenders here as well. Buster far back in support in Astralis. A typical boost to look for aggression, nothing coming quite yet, and a stalemate early on. Neither of these teams want to make that first mistake in these grand finals. Just ready and waiting. Kickert to Dren, trying to find their timing. Pop flash over. Kickert's going to get the first action. The CZ, it's got nothing. AVANGAR has nothing, and Astralis is cracked open towards this B-bomb site.
We talked a lot about that Astralis utility use already on the desk being mentioned, and you know, it's true with HEs and a bunch of different things, but that one flashbang absolutely cracking open top Banana, and now that bomb is going to be going down. 5 versus 3. Pretty much an impossible retake here. I have no idea how you could even dream of doing this. Sanji rushing through with a flashbang. He's going to turn around, getting a headshot. He gets one more kill before he's finally down. A godlike play from Sanji. And now it's a 2-on-2. They line up the device, and he's not going to take anything coming from that side. A quick double, and Astralis will win it, but for a second, it looked like they were about to do the impossible.
Right when Sanji pulls it back into it, Device is there to just shut it right back down. That double kill is heartbreaking because AVANGAR all of a sudden had to have felt like they had a real chance. This is so brilliant, especially for a young player on this kind of stage to get this level of a start. But if you're AVANGAR, that's what you don't want. You had the setup. You had 3 players at B. You wanted to fight for that control. That's the exact fight you were looking for, and you still can't win it. 1-0 for the Danes. And a full investment from defense. Upgraded pistols, 3 CZs, and there's that utility damage. Device down to 22. It is returned on the other side, though. Buster and Kickert going to take some chip damage themselves.
Device is going to be giving up on that Krieg at any point. Could give it to Glaive or any of the others. They all have head armor, of course. Kind of a must-buy thing now that you know that they could be picking up, you know, SMGs or anything like that.
And Astralis is fine being patient right now. They want the utility to be used early on by the CT side. You can see 3 smokes remaining with just over a minute. And Astralis can start applying a little bit of pressure to force 1 or 2 out earlier. There's the follow-up at the B-bomb site. No smokes left on this part of the map.
I thing you obviously want to avoid here is walking into a stack. Don't want to be going into a bomb site where there's 3 or 5 people waiting. Better to try and spend a bit of time and sort of feel it out. And I think that's what Magisk is doing right now. Just getting a sense of, is anyone here? What's going on?
That, and you can see one flashbang used. That's information. That's something they don't have to worry about later on. So Magisk just firing up, just making the footsteps, has forced one extra piece of defense out. There's the follow-up, and Keiko chooses the wrong time. It's just Buster. P250, but Astralis still not committed. 18 seconds left, and with just the sole defender now gone, the rest of AVANGAR has to save.
When the first target you have to fight with a weapon like that is jumping, it's generally quite hard to do anything, because even if you were really quick and you manage to adjust and sort of get the headshot mid-air, it doesn't matter, because he's already so far sort of out in that angle that there are just going to be more people coming in behind. So if you're the first guy into a bomb site like that, and you generally, if you can get that jump timing right, that can be a pretty powerful setup. Ooh, Sanji, though, actually making a lot of money. Remember, the kill reward for that SMG is $600, unlike the pistols, which are down to 300. So that's a huge difference, him just picking up a lot of money in the bank. And everything matters, most especially when you're playing on the CT side of Inferno, where you need smokes, molotovs, all those expensive grenades to block off all the choke points. It's a huge part of the meta game right now.
And that's going to be such a big factor. AVANGAR is going to have to do a better job of holding their nerve once the guns come out, once the gun rounds get underway. You could see those pop flashes from the CT spawn choke point, those are too early. It's just one player challenging and making noise. You need to hold them for a little bit longer, and obviously that is a very tough thing to do against Astralis.
Could even be that Sanji, with that kind of a bank, he could drop the ult for James earlier than maybe they would have normally been able to. So that's a choice that they have to make. Do they want the early sniper rifle, or do they want all the grenades, basically? I think that could be a choice that they'll have to make in a couple of rounds, or in the next round, really. They still have a lot to fight with here, so Astralis have to be careful. 3 armors, and Sanji's at it again. He's making money all the time.
Well, he's just playing like a god to start this out. 6 kills already and 1 death. What a performance and what a shutdown of Dupree. Glaive is going to swap out for the AK-47, and Astralis might be forced to at least look towards Banana. Glaive and Device going to attend to that. You have to see if there's any kind of aggressive defense and force it back if it's there. But a 5-on-4 and a chance for AVANGAR in the 3rd round to win one that they probably didn't have a chance of, or probably shouldn't have won.
Buster, very hard to do anything in this position. Again, the smoke, that's the thing that would sort of save him, but when it happens at a minute, that's going to be tricky. Kicker is coming in with the next smoke, so that's kind of good news, and if they can wait with that smoke until 30 seconds thereabout, that's going to be a big difference.
And towards mid, they're going to go for the information play. They want to start clearing out these halls. They want to know what kind of a hit it's going to be. And unfortunately, I think they've looked, and it was all clear when they peeked. James is rotating away. Adren is rotating away. But Astralis is coming right back here, and this timing could not be worse for AVANGAR. This is an absolute disaster.
It is. This is one of those rounds, and it happened yesterday as well in the semifinal, where it looked like Astralis were playing off the minimap. Again, any new viewers to the game, that minimap in the top left, only we can see that. Obviously, the players can't see where the other team is, but it feels like Astralis sometimes just know. They make the perfect call at the perfect time. You're absolutely right. AVANGAR, they even did their due diligence. They went and saw, there's nobody here in second mid.
Yep.
We should be all right. Let's try and move for it. Kick picked off in library. That's a great call in the middle of the round.
I wouldn't even be upset if AVANGAR went for this, if for no other reason, just to get 1 or 2 more kills, start limiting the money, take something away. Maybe you get lucky, but especially with the bomb blowing up, you have them trapped at the bomb site. So multiple players are likely going to head towards pit at the end of this round for safety.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they're setting up for. At least Buster up there, he's got the UMP. When the bomb goes up, if you do a good enough amount of damage, they're actually going to exit the other way. They're not going into the pit corner instead. I think that's what they were thinking about. So now, even as the round is over, they're still making good calls, Astralis. That's another good read. All the details matter here.
They remember the Doja nade.
Yeah.
They don't want to mess with that.
Don't want any of it.
3-0 for Astralis. But here come the weapons, and as you mentioned, the discussion of whether the AWP would come out this early due to the bonus money from Sanji is also going to allow James to have a whole ton of utility. So this is actually a very, very strong buy for them in just the 4th round.
And honestly, given how James has been playing in this game, why would you not give him that?
What a priority. Put that in his hand as much as possible.
Such an outrageous player right now. Magisk thinking about peeking that corner. He's going to be quick about it, but Kickard on the other side. Very strong on that defense. They did take a lot of damage, but That's a one fight. And that could slow down Astralis a fair bit. Device almost could have stolen that back. Sanji maybe a bit careless falling back from that one.
Yeah, the damage on these defenders is so rough. Yes, they're one player up, but at what cost? One HE grenade, that's on Glaive. We'll see where he places that. Sanji's got to be careful towards this choke point if he leans in to try and take a peek. It's going to be a boost up for the defense. 3 players here still. They're really respecting the danger of a B hit from Astralis. And at the moment, with 4 players in Banana and no control elsewhere on the map, that's the right call to make.
Having 2 people like that towards CT spawn, I wonder why they don't boost one of them up. Because, yeah, they do. With a little bit of time, could be a pretty good call. They don't have any more HEs on the Astralis side, so he shouldn't be grenaded out of there. And with only 20 health, if he can get a kill before he goes down, that's pretty big. They're not going to be swapping back. They're going to be running for it here. Great counter Molotov coming out. Sanji's up there, and he does get the kill. Buster with one in return. Not looking bad at all. 25 seconds, but Buster has to buy some time. The backup is coming, but they won't get there in time, and they've just Molotoved him out of the corner. Heads up play from Astralis. Don't try and take the battle. And now James overstepping the line a bit too much, a bit careless. He could have been dead already. Maybe should have been. Dupree, instant headshot on Adren. And now James. They needed to be 2 to do this. Now, I would say saving the orb, even though it's painful, you should do it.
Especially with the low HP. Yeah. He's got to back off. Again, AVANGAR have the perfect defense they could have asked for. 3 players at that B bomb site, and still they can't hold on to it. 3 players there the whole time as well. It wasn't even a question.
I mean, it isn't far off. I guess the rotation takes a little bit of time, so Buster's alone for quite a while back there.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't had a Molotov and they actually had to go and sort of hard clear that new box corner, maybe that would have been something, but ultimately...
That was a Molotov as well, picked up off the dead body of Glaive. That was the one as they ran over it. They snagged it just right at the last second to be able to utilize it. Then they just waited for the Flames to force him out of position. And this Astralis offense is starting to get rolling.
Off to a very hot start. You have to imagine there could have been some sort of conversation on AVANGAR's side to say, we sort of saw what happened to Liquid yesterday, so let's, oh sorry, not Liquid, but NRG. And I guess it happened to Liquid to some extent too.
Oh, it definitely did.
Don't let's get, rolled early on. Don't give them all that momentum. Just try and take a round away. At some early stage, James going to be Molotov back around the corner. He's got a little bit of backup, but it's just busted there with the Deagle. That's going to be a pretty decent counter grenade coming out. Lands right on top of 3 of them, but they're right in his face. This is where James actually does most of his really good work. The Deagle to cover, and he misses the flick. He had to get that one. A lot is riding on it. They're now back behind the smoke wall and should be getting a bomb plant here in a 3-on-4.
James gets caught in an awkward position. Does well to even get the first kill, but from there, it's just so hard to decide how to play the situation. Even with Buster covering him from coffins, and now a very difficult retake, and Dupree has control of Banana. He's cleared out the flank himself, so they know nothing is coming from middle. And AVANGAR, you have to go for this, 4-on-3.
Setting it up, 2 coming in from construction, 2 from CT spawn. That Molotov does nothing, it actually goes into the smoke. That's a mistake from the Astralis side. That could have bought a lot of time. Device nearly going down, and Magus is low on health, and there's Buster taking the head right off Device. Magus still fighting, and now that bomb is ticked for a very long time, and I'm not sure if Adren can do anything at this point. It's just too late. Maybe a couple of exit kills here, but Astralis will find a way to pick up a 5th round. Magus with the triple, and Astralis, I mean, a couple of bullets away from losing that round, I think.
They've had AVANGAR, despite losing all these rounds, they've actually, managed to hold on to that B bomb site pretty well with the initial defense. Those retakes are going to be so tough. That's one of the areas Astralis has always been strong in. Their man-up situations and hanging on to the post plants. That's where AVANGAR is going to have to find something special. 5-0, but a double up setup now for the defense. You have to imagine they're going to want 1 in Banana, 1 towards that A bomb site. They need to find picks to alleviate some of this. James, does he want to go for a peek in alt mid? And indeed he does, but backs away, chooses a different option at the last second.
We do enjoy the craziness, but running down alt mid that late in the round, that's definitely crazy. Look at this fast execute coming around the corner. They must have called it out. Is there going to be a flashbang or anything, or is James just going to slow peek it? Had a big chance there, but now if he re-peeks it, it's dangerous. You don't know how many people are going to be waiting on that corner, and they're going to back it off Astralis.
These are the risks that Astralis is going to be able to punish as this game goes on. Look at this. James trying to get his team back into it, trying to make it happen, and he's going to get punished. Sanjay here with the SMG. He's been so good with it. He's got the first, and it needs more. A dink is not enough, and Adren starts to feel lonely in pit.
He has got no kills so far in the game. Now would be the time to really step it up. Playing in pit's a powerful position, but you need somebody else there to help you out. There's a good start, taking down Megis. 50 seconds on the clock. Dupree now next in line, but look at double teaming here. Oh my God, he got that headshot on Dupree. He nearly did it. That would have been everything. Now Buster has a very tough choice to make, and I don't even know if you can dream of doing this. He's thinking about it, but
these bomb sites on Inferno are so difficult to retake, especially going over to this A bomb site when you have so much ground to cover. You add on top of that, there's no kit on Buster. He doesn't have a smoke to just drop it on the bomb and go for something desperate. So he's got to keep this op in his hands as they have that full losing bonus. So that's a weapon they must have in the next round. But this is going to be so tough. These situations from here on out, AVANGAR in the back of their mind eventually is going to say, we can't go for these saves. We have to actually try and go for it because the situation is going to start getting way too desperate very quickly.
They save the orb once again. And obviously the round loss bonus is kicked all the way up. 6-0 in favor of Astralis very early on, and they haven't been easy rounds. Some of these, they've had to fight to get onto the bomb sites, and some of the times they've been very low on health. But ultimately, they're getting the rounds, and 6 rounds early on T side Inferno is pretty good.
Oh, it's phenomenal. This is disastrous for AVANGAR. We'll see if they can recover, but at the moment, you need everyone to step up. The guys who have kind of gotten you here, 2 of the most impactful players on the AVANGAR side of things, Kickert and James, 1 kill apiece. Adren has 2, the most experienced player on the team, a former major MVP himself. Just gets that double kill in the previous round, and that's it. Sanji, the one delivering at 9 and 5, but you need more than that. And like you said, even though there is resistance, and even though they are, like Astralis is having to battle to get into the bomb sites, eventually it cracks, and there's just no way.
Well, the first 3 rounds that you lose where it's close, you can keep telling a story like, listen, it's so close, next time we'll do it. You know, the 4th or 5th time you tell that same story, it's like now it's no longer believable. Like that rings really hollow after a while. Like, but you know, they're still winning the rounds, aren't they? We'll see what can happen now. Round number 7, and setting up at the bottom of Banana, some grenades being exchanged, and Meg is, I thought he was safe from that first smoke, but apparently not. And now the grenade's on top, and he's gone. That's a beautiful timing.
I'm surprised he didn't just hop out as soon as he put the Molotov away. He took a lot of damage from the flames there. Good double nade. AVANGAR needed that start. They need this man-up situation. 3 players towards the A bomb site for the moment, but James is going to be mobile. He can either switch spots with someone to post up in AWP. Look how far back on the map Astralis is for the moment. They're expecting that AVANGAR is going to try and switch things up, try and get a little bit cheesy. Maybe you push an ult mid, maybe you push through halls. They're waiting for that kind of a play at the moment.
This is dangerous because we could have almost a replay of the same scenario where if Sanji doesn't live, Adren is alone in pit again. And strong as a position that is, it isn't when they're coming in from every angle and they're wrapping around, at least thinking about it. Device is now checking top Banana, making sure no one's really there, but James is. And he's going to be taking a fair bit of damage. This is such great map control for Astralis.
Oh, kick it with the wide peak. That is a nice shot, and that's going to force Astralis' hands. Towards the A bomb site we go. Sanji in the corner. It's Adren to hold on. Molotov coming in. He does have a smoke. He doesn't use it. He peeks first, and he eats the nade. Nice combo. The 1-2 punch from Glaive, and it's just Sanji. He's been stellar. But how much can he do? There's the first kill, and trying to lure them into the bomb site, and he can't get anything else. 2 players alive for Astralis, and Buster needs to back away. His teammates are here. And another retake in store for AVANGAR, and it's one they must have.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. This is a must-win round. They're going to be boosting over. It's a good idea, but they sort of mess it up a little bit. And now that position gets re-smoked. This is very rough indeed. Are they going to try and wrap around the other way? A lot of time has already been burned off of that. That smoke is still up in the corner. Dupree now in a very powerful position over at Graveyard. He can control pretty much the whole bomb site from this sip on the bomb site itself, and it's ticking, and Kickert will get a kill. There's Dupree with one. Transfer on to Kickert, and now Buster off close. Dupree almost gets it, and Buster has no kit. They get all the kills, but they can't win the round.
That's so heartbreaking. That one sticks worse, and he dies to the bomb explosion. No AWP saved. And Astralis just running up the score at this point. What a great performance, great positioning change for Dupree. Not only does it help him get the double kill, but the fact that it buys so much time. Look at how he has to commit to hunting down Dupree. He cannot, that extra second it takes, he can't get to the bomb in time. It's just getting worse. And I think AVANGAR knows it. Now you see them buying up everything they possibly can. 3 SMGs on the board for this defensive side.
They're so close all the time. Down to 2v2s, almost retaking those bomb sites, but not making it. And as you said, that AWP gets lost towards the end. This is very rough, isn't it? I mean, look at the money on the Astralis side. They're 7-0, and none of them have over 2,250 on Magus. That in itself tells almost the entire story here. Well, that's a good opening.
Yeah, but this is where it's going to get really, really sketchy for AVANGAR, because this is where you start to feel, especially as younger players, that you need to be the one to do something to get your team back in the game. This is where some of the teamwork kind of falls out of the back of your mind. You're not calling for flashbangs. You're not, setting up crossfires. You're trying to make some heroic effort to get your team sparked up, and that's when it can just collapse, because we know Astralis just does not make a whole lot of mistakes. And they will punish yours. And Dupree is being ruthless. He wants to take everything out of the hands of AVANGAR. It's going to start with Sanji.
Yeah, just spotting him earlier, so well aware. 8-0. I mean, if you combine this with how they got started against NRG yesterday, these are some of the most devastating early runs we've seen. And NRG were actually able to sort of, they were able to start to run it back a bit. They made it look competitive. It was just too late. And we need to see something similar out of AVANGAR, where they can actually start to convert some of these rounds, build really anything here in the first half. 8 rounds, what a beginning.
I say at this point, you have another round. James is going to have the AWP, and I think you just tell him, do whatever you want. Like, if you want to push alt mid, if you want to take a peek through window, try and get him started, try and get him fired up.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose at this point. Your defenses haven't worked. You've had 3 players at the B bomb site and still lost, so you've been able to make rotations today, haven't been able to retake. Get James involved with that AWP very early on.
Running inside the smoke, that looked like a lineup. That looked like it should have been a double. They were all hugged up against the wall, but now instead, Device is right on top of him, and that is not a fair fight. Once you lose that first no-scope, there's nothing left.
Well, I wasn't looking for anything that crazy. That seemed a bit over-eager from James, but I can understand why he's trying it. As we just talked about. Again, pressure towards the B-bomb site. Just 2 players, but enough to make the defense feel nervous, especially with the man down. I think at this point, with the weaponry, with the utility that AVANGAR has, you can almost... The only option is really to gamble into a bomb site. Even that might not fool Astralis. With 1 minute, they're certainly going to go investigating as AVANGAR makes that call to gamble at the A site.
And Astralis are just checking out apartments, saying, is anyone here? Can they know where we are? Well, that flashbang will probably tell them that someone was just sort of looking middle, that maybe they even heard the steps. So right now, they're just scouting for information, Astralis. Figuring out what AVANGAR can know and can't know. They fall back a little bit. At B-bomb side, almost entirely undefended.
Oh, they line up, but Dren gets the double. That is a good start, and here comes Astralis back to the A bomb site. There was utility thrown towards B, and you can see they were trying to take advantage of the rotations, and Dren is shutting them all down. There's the play from the experienced member of the team. Dren steps up to the plate. Quad kill to get AVANGAR on the board for the first time in this grand finals.
And a beautiful move, wasn't it? Like the counterintuitive move to move forward after you really get the first 2 kills. That's the part where they're just not expecting it, because the textbook move here is falling back right after you pick up that first double. You just say, all right, I'm going to be falling back. We're defending the bomb site, but nope. Goes for it, doubles down, and that makes a big difference. Round number 10, the first one now on the board for AVANGAR. And if he started something big here as Buster's now pushing down towards Banana. Oh, and they know Device is in there. And dropping a Magus right on the other side, jumping through, and he's going to get killed as well. Buster with a big double. They love that. And look at the money on Astralis.
Yeah, it's really, really bruised. AVANGAR was waiting for this moment. They have to capitalize. James on Rap's side. Gonna hold for any kind of mid-control, and Astralis wants to re-aggress towards Banana, retake this part of the map. Glaive checking the corners, spearheading for his team. There's the pop flash. As the smoke clears, he's gonna keep going forward, and I think AVANGAR knows what's coming. Sanji is rotating into the position. He's getting here very, very early. He's got one flashbang for his teammates. He can help from far, far back. They're going for the boost. Molotov to deny access to the site.
They can't even put it out. They don't have any smokes left on Astralis, so that's a bit rough. Buster getting one more kill. Why not make it a triple? And finally he goes down. Zip, he was even pre-aiming that through the smoke. He expected the boost to come, but now there's only 30 seconds left. 2 versus 4. And this is a round that really should not be losable for AVANGAR. Flashbang, the bomb is planted, sure, but Kick-It is gonna be there, and it's all on Dupree, and he's just got no chance. Sanji will take him down. AVANGAR finding a second round. Thanks to Buster and some real heroic play over at that B-bomb side.
And really great flashes as well from AVANGAR on that retake. Yeah, it's a 4-on-2, but just do everything to secure your own money, your own weaponry, and secure the round win. 2 in a row now as AVANGAR trying to come to life. And as you mentioned, I mean, they kept it so close for so long. These 2 rounds, they've just broken the economy of Astralis. So back to pistols for the T side, a half investment.
Some of these rounds, and you know, I don't want to dig up the past already, Moses, but some of these rounds yesterday were some of the rounds that NRG ended up losing, which is why we sort of, I mean, probably one of the most heartbreaking matches of all time yesterday. Just for that reason, that every time they just got the, you know, some sort of edge, and as James going down to Sip.
There's no one in mid. There's no one in mid to cover that because they put 3 players at B. It's only a Dren here. He's got to deliver and he can't. Just the 1 kill, and now Magic steps up and he's going to go for more. He can actually cut off the rotations entirely.
There's nobody on A. How can this be? It is exactly what happened yesterday. As soon as they have Astralis down, as soon as they're out of money and it seems like you should be able to run something back, it all goes horribly wrong.
I mean, you have to assume. I love that call from Astralis because in my head, I'm just assuming that Astralis, we know how well they prep and how well they're able to read different ways to counter their opponents. And they've talked about it in interviews through each stage of these playoffs. The way they did it to Liquid with the Vertigo pick, the way they did it to NRG on Overpass. Now here, they had to have spotted it, you know, throughout this stage that AVANGAR likes to play 3 players at the B-bomb site. They had to have seen it themselves. And they've been waiting for the right moment to hit up mid very, very quickly. And what better time than when you have Deagles, when you have deficient weaponry, catch them off guard.
I mean, we mentioned it, we mentioned it heartbreaking many times yesterday. We're getting a taste of it here now. 9-2 in favor of Astralis. Leaving AVANGAR, I mean, cutting the celebration short real early. Not even sure it got started much at all.
James still having a really rough game, 1-6. Which might be why you've seen some of the awkward fight selections these past few rounds out of him trying to make up for it. That looked like he wanted to go in towards ult mid and just did not expect Zip to take that peek so early in the round, and obviously Dren the only defender to try and cover and try and close the gap in that defense. Timeout called by Astralis, even up 9-2. I like it. Talk about it, close out this half.
And they mentioned in the past that one of the teams that actually started doing this a long time ago, where, you know, winning a round like that, the adrenaline gets a bit high, everybody's get a little bit fired up, you know, so try and calm everything down a bit so that you're not just sort of tumbling into the next round and people make, you know, basic mistakes.
Well, this is where also they know this is like where they can really apply even more pressure. You're up 9-2, and if you win this, they know it shatters, you know, the money from the AVANGAR from the defensive side. So if you get that at this stage in the half, you pretty much have the, you know, the red carpet's out, not only to open the show, but to get you to 13-2 lead.
Kick-It walking into the shot. Device absolutely ready for it. James, we do need to see many, many more connections from his point of view right here. He's been trying to go aggressive on pretty much all fronts. I don't know what it'll take, but some of these shots have to be kills soon.
They have so much faith in Adren at the A-bomb site. 3 players again towards B. It's aggression. Sanji peeks right into the Molotov. He was dedicated because of the flashbang from his teammates, but it's just the worst moment for it. James slowly going to creep out, as you said. Need more connections. He does connect. Glaive is down low. Flashbang forces him away. Glaive still holding strong in the corner. Now isolated by the smoke, and he's going to try and back off. Oh, Device returns the favor.
What can you even do at that point in time? You get the leg shot, you want to hunt him down, you don't have any grenades to do anything. You want the USP, but you get flashed, and when you repeat, the guy from behind the smoke will out-snipe you. And now Glaive is checking the bomb site, and he's making a bit of noise. Is he going to realize? He's got no health left. He's saying, listen, he knows now.
He'll take the sacrifice. He'll take the death.
They can just run back.
Yep. Free B bomb site. So Astralis have done it again. They find the right play. And it's going to be a free round. It's going to be a free 10th. Adren and Buster cannot even try for this. And actually, if you're Astralis, you're going to go on the hunt as well. You've got two players positioned outside of the A bomb site, so you know they haven't pushed forward to the offensive side of the map. And you can slowly encroach through CT spawn and have them cornered. And you've got plenty of time to ruthlessly take these weapons away. To take them away with the Viking chants in the background.
Yeah, they've been practicing their singing pretty much all year and maybe all of last year as well. Just trying to keep the rifles alive. It all matters right now. Device, a couple of line shots, that's not bad. Bit of a one-way smoke being set up, and so far they're going to be able to save the rifles, so that's a very small comfort at this point in the game. 10-2. And we're moving into round number 13. AVANGAR saving 2 rifles. They pick up a couple of AWPs here. I don't know. Even if they get 10-5 right now, I mean, it's still below minimum, isn't it?
Right, it's still in the dangerous area where it just doesn't feel. I think more than even the scoreline, it's just kind of the way these rounds are playing out. Astralis with all the right decisions. Just as we saw, they were so sketchy through the legend stage. And once we've gotten to the champion stage, these top 8 playoffs, the quarterfinals and on, when they played Liquid and then NRG, it's the Astralis that you just can't beat. And I have to imagine if you're AVANGAR, you probably don't say it in the chat, but you feel it as one of those players. You just say, they are a step ahead of us. We have no standing in this game. We have no read. And obviously, on an individual level, not feeling the flow very well.
I just think it's the shocking, because I'm sure they must have been watching that NRG game thinking, well, guys, if we're in this position, like, you know, here are all some solutions, here's what we can do. But then when you feel it, and it's on you suddenly, that colossal weight of this team, and you just can't stop it, nothing works, and everything is a struggle. Adren going to be pushing down. This is some creative play, and he's going to be taking up Device, turning around. He's out of bullets. Or he probably would have had that kill on Sip as well, but this is great. Now they should be able to draw back a little bit. They've got the 4 versus 3. Maybe they can actually win this round.
Zip going to start backing away slowly. It's Banana where Astralis attacks next. Great pop flash. Buster going to stick around. He's got to be careful. He's got his teammate here, keeping space between the off. Molotov to cut off the retreat. They got to fight in it, but another great kill from Kicker. And it's Zip all alone, 1 versus 4. He's good, Anders. He's great in clutches. This one would be a masterclass.
Yeah, this would probably be, even by his standards, this would be outrageous. And with the grenade on top, he's also sandwiched in. There is, I mean, in these kind of situations, I think some of the Sif clutches aren't like this, but in this one, you actually need the enemy team to make some pretty colossal mistakes too. They have to give you a way in, like somebody has to go and fight you a bit early, or you get the first kill and everyone just piles on top of you, and then you have, you know, a chance. But they're doing the perfect thing right now, saying you have to turn up at some point and put the bomb down. We're gonna wait for that. And there it is. Buster will drop him. Very good stuff. A bit of team damage at the end, a little bit of panic maybe. A 10-3 scoreline as AVANGAR will find another round. That'll put the AVANGAR fans on their feet. Not giving up. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, this has been just such what an incredible run it has been for AVANGAR to even get to this point. So obviously the fans are just loving.
Yeah.
That whole section just loving the fact here on the grand final stage.
But you see it right there. I mean, we've seen it in Sanji in this game already, but Adren, the quality of play is so high when they can just get the space for it. But Astralis is just taking it away, and now the grenades on top. Device will take 2 and kick it there to save the day. That would, I mean, it still could be, but that was about to be another absolutely heartbreaking scenario. as Astralis nearly steal the round.
What a combination, and that was almost just so deadly. Taking out both of his teammates, and the MAC-10 actually getting aggressive could have been overwhelming. 3-on-3, Dupree far back looking for pushes and ult mid. Weapons being upgraded. And Kickert's going to be blocked off by the smoke, and I think Astralis is going to keep this one simple. They might just march in with this, go for a contact play. Here are the flashes to allow Magis to have some kind of an advantage, and they're going to find an MTB bomb site.
Yeah, but the question is, Kickert, if he puts up that Molotov, can he push them out into a position where he can take them down through the smoke on the other side? He's waiting right now. Molotov, grenade on top. That's pretty good. That's going to slow down Sip, but he burns alive. And the follow-up grenade. A genius play coming out from AVANGAR. That's what they needed. And now the boost on top, but Magus is there to read it, and it almost falls apart. Now, Adren is being called in as well. Another Molotov. They have one more and an HE on Adren, so they can keep playing this game for a short while. 20 seconds, and no bomb plant has happened yet. They just haven't been able to. James trying to get the shot through. Magus getting another headshot with the Krieg. And now the bomb is finally planted. And Adren, what can you do? He's there for another headshot. Magus taking every single one down. Just the same angle over and over again.
And laughing while he does it. James took a shot into the box, and Major saw his opportunity. He said, you have to reload. You have to spend that 1 second not looking in this direction, and he's going to have the angle for James when he re-peaks. That is beautiful work from Magus, even finding the boost over. AVANGAR, they do something so well, and they just cannot maintain that player lead. It's the next step, it's that boost up. Astralis being patient and waiting for the next step from AVANGAR. Ooh, I like this. James, he sees the shoulder, but doesn't get a clean shot.
That's run boosting for an AWP peak in the middle in a major grand finals. You have to appreciate that. And that as well. Grenade on Magus, not the first time he's been blown up.
Look at Glaive. Glaive, this is unbelievable. He has just pushed all the way up mid, and he's wrapping around.
Oh no.
And you have to imagine again, this is the read that Glaive as the in-game leader makes. He knows they like to play 3 players. He knows this defense on A can be weak, and it can lose track of this, and Adrenaline, unfortunately, is going to be in the losing end of this play.
Ren caught a bit of danger, but now, what do they do at B? They have to push out, because otherwise they're going to get shot in the back, and as they do, waiting for them out there, Device to take a kill. Now they realize the A bomb site is completely open. Kick at the last one left. They leave a smoke just so we can't chase them down. Everything is just so well timed and planned out for the Astralis team, including Dupree being dead. That's a 12-3 scoreline at the end of the first half here on Inferno. I just can't believe it.
Oh, this is ruthless. This is what the devs talked about, such a disparity. One of the best teams in the world performing at this level against the Cinderella story. Heading to a break for halftime, and when we return, we're going to switch sides and finish up map 1.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Second half coming up here. First map of the grand finals. Berlin, make some noise! This is going to be, well, an impossible task for AVANGAR. trying to run it back from a 12-3 first half score. Astralis, even when they were down, even when they were broke and they had their, well, a chance maybe to get back in the game, AVANGAR, there was no stopping Astralis. Some of the calls, some of the mid-round calls, and obviously that deal round with Sip, it's just too much to handle. Winning the pistol has to be the first step, obviously, but even then, it will be very, very tricky indeed. Let's see what they've got. Double grenade into the corner, and Adren already down to 12. Lucky to be alive.
Yeah, that's a crappy way to have to start this pistol round. Adren gonna have to chill for a bit at logs and not be too aggressive, and which is a shame because he's been phenomenal. He's been one of the fraggers, one of the top fraggers for this AVANGAR side. Kickert gonna take the peeksies. Glaive in the choke point, who's just forced back into the bomb site. 2 Molotovs, 2 smokes, and 2 decoys on the AVANGAR side.
2 Molotovs feels like a B-execute. Maybe.
2 decoys feels like a fake.
Has anyone ever successfully done that?
No, but decoys? This would be the time to do it.
Would be cool. Device gonna be boosted up, so already that makes it tricky. There's a little bit rolling in, smoke in front to counter it pretty quickly. So far, none of the smokes have been used, but they're thinking about it. What does Astralis say at this point when they're hearing the decoys? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I guess they're hoping AVANGAR that it would force some kind of rotation, but Astralis has kept 3 players here and 2 players at the A bomb site. They're just so confident it's going to be a hit towards this site, and they're correct. Spamming through the smoke blades in a dangerous battle. 2 quick kills, but Device is still here. And we've seen him win incredible pistol rounds in the past. 56 HP, 4-on-3 scenario.
Just yesterday, it's outrageous for him. He's now by construction, waiting back here. Adren, that needed to be a kill. Sanji can still bring it back, and he himself has been playing out of his mind in the grand final so far, but they just take him out. Magus with a quick kill. Device is down on the other side. 2-on-2. Oh, James, that's a nice flick, and that's a triple kill. Already doing better in this first round than he did the entire first half. And now Dupree, I don't think he can check everything. I think AVANGAR has actually find a way to win this round. That took everything, didn't it? All on it. Jane with a triple and a 4th round for AVANGAR.
It's the spam as they approach the smoke. Like Glaive was trying to play behind it, waiting for them to come through, and that spam coming right through just throws off his entire play.
You know that smoke that's down that they're all trying to come through? That was Sip putting it down from the orange boxes. He underhands the smoke so that they all have to line up against the wall as they're coming into the beat. It's so smart. And I mean, the fact that in itself could have shut them all down. Look at this, they're all funneled here because that smoke that's to the left. Man.
Well, I mean, even winning the pistol round is obviously going to be phenomenal for AVANGAR, but you did it in the best possible way. James getting 3 kills, including that spectacular headshot. So for someone who had 1 frag in the first half, that's got to feel good that you at least start things out well this time. 3 MAC-10s and 2 AK-47s. 1 defender for Astralis at the A bomb site. Bomb is still very far back on the map, so no one's really dedicated. They haven't made their decision of where they want to go, but with 3 players top banana, that's got to make you feel a tad bit nervous. You can see the investigation coming from Buster. He spots 1. There's the follow-up peek, so now they know 2 are here, and this utility usage has got to scare the hell out of them. They need to fall back.
He's still sticking around. I was going to say, surely if you're Buster, that just smells like a setup, doesn't it? You get that deep in towards the bomb site, and then a bunch of people peek you at the same time. That should tell you something.
Yeah, I'm actually amazed they're still fighting, and yeah, they're going to come out on top because the betterment of the weapon, because the better weapons. But this is insane. And actually, look at the position from Magus. Oh, that's not good. That could actually funnel AVANGAR back towards the B bomb site, and now he's going to hide Magus. He hears Kickert. He hears the footsteps. The bomb is left all alone. Kickert cannot leave his teammate like this. He can't do that. He comes back to help. And now AVANGAR, they finally stabilized, but there was way too much danger in this round.
I absolutely agree. If they had run back to B based off that 1 MP9, that would have been devastating. Now they found a way to make it back, and that could have gone any which way, I think. Dupree with the CC, hoping that someone would come lurking past, but it'll be fine for now. Maybe there's some SMG on the ground you could find somewhere. Certainly AVANGAR going to be winning the 5th round here. 12-5, still a very long way to go. But it's got to put a bit of a smile on your face to see James now picking it up, starting the work with something.
Right, well, yeah, just these 2 rounds, he's already had 5 kills from 1 in the first half, so fair play. And I mean, at least even if you lose this map, at least if you're AVANGAR, if you're buying him time to kind of get going, and maybe the nerves, maybe the first half of the nerves obviously got outplayed a number of times by Astralis, but settle him down, get some kills under his belt, make him feel a little bit better, and you can at least go in the next map and say he started the fire right at the end. And that's better than nothing.
Nothing is also what Dupree found over at Topanan. Didn't get anything for it. So that's a shame. Well, the odds are looking even worse than they were to start off with. So I guess that's understandable at this current moment in time.
I'd say so.
12-5. That is still a heavy lead for the Danish side. It's 4 MAC-10s and an AK on the other side. So this time you would expect for there to be maybe a bit more speed, jumping MAC-10s.
Well, I mean, what scares you about it is that's a buy you sometimes see when they've already made the decision of where they want to go, right? This is where you see the commitment of Banana. Yeah. And if they're going to be full-blown committed right out of spawn, they can run into a stack. We saw Astralis just do it in the previous round. They almost got lured into that trap. Astralis is going to have some small measure of things to fight with. Upgraded pistols, not a whole lot of utility, but there is going to be danger, if AVANGAR isn't careful about this. And they weren't careful in the previous rounds.
We've already seen an example of it, and certainly saw many of them throughout the tournament, of just what happens when you afford Astralis even a slight opening. Anything that you can give them, and it can backfire really quickly. That's a good fight there. Bit of a setup with a flashbang. We do have another interesting stack over at the B-bomb site. In the corner, if they throw a Molotov there, then both people already just go down. And it's just a USB on top, so you have to assume it's going to be somewhat limited how much damage that's going to be doing.
That's doing better than the MAC-10. Good shot from Buster. Bomb still back in T-spawn. It's being picked up now. But the foothold in the B-bomb site is strong for AVANGAR, and it's just Zip to defend. At first oranges.
Throwing himself for the smoke with a flashbang. But I think they were just blind spraying that, and it works out. And I don't think there's really much Zip can do here. His device going to be going down. Now everybody staying alive for the AVANGAR side. 6-12. Taking a step closer in the right direction. You can't really help. You still have that feeling in the back of your mind, like any minute, Astralis can just slam the door on them.
Absolutely, but I mean, at least for the moment, we'll see how this first gun round goes. It's bold for AVANGAR to stick with the 2 MAC-10s, considering the disparity in the scoreline. You'd think they'd want to upgrade immediately and start actually trying to grind back into this game. We'll see what they can play with it. Vice with an AWP, gonna go for the peek down mid. No one swinging wide to challenge. And here comes that 3-man utility usage. Down Banana for Astralis that we've seen so many times, and so much damage, and Buster's gone. He eats all of it right in the first round. And that's got to feel terrible, because you know that's just going to be happening every single round for as long as this goes on. You have to be worried about which combination of nades Astralis is going to use.
You know what's so stupid as well as that? Everybody knows this. We mentioned it on the desk. All the teams know that Astralis are so good at this, so you would think that that would cause some kind of a fall-off in the success rate of it. But they're still so good at it, even when you know it's coming, even if you think that, yeah, well, got to be careful of the grenades. Yes, they're the best team in the world at throwing them, and somehow still you end up walking into them. That in itself must add an extra layer of frustration. Like, well, we had this conversation and still...
Yeah, well, at least Adren gets to upgrade to the AK-47. He had one of the MAC-10s. Still some weapons to get back into this. Sanji on the other side of the map, all on his own, but he only has a MAC-10 as well. So it almost feels like they have to hit the B-bomb site and turn him into a lurk. There's a deep smoke for Small Pit, and it's not fooling anyone. Actually, Magisk is even more convinced than ever that it's going to be this B-bomb site. They're making noise over here, so if that's an attempt at a fake, it's a very weak one. And Sanji's not able to initiate any action because of the MAC-10.
This is what we used to call an IP play, actually. Kick it, getting a kill, but the crossfire, Magisk, even though we couldn't really see much, still very effective, and Glaive back here doing the damage, and Magisk again, the bomb is down, and Sanji, in this kind of a play, this is something that, you know, the old original NIP lineup used to run. You're playing over a boiler with just one person, and when you start making noise at B, if they rotate people out, that person can either get them in mid-rotation, or you can just sneak up behind them as they're getting through CT spawns. So there's a bunch of ways in which, yeah, well, this is a real throwback, isn't it?
That's a thing of beauty.
Almost brings a tear to my eyes.
It definitely brings a tear to my eyes. It's a gorgeous looking map.
Yeah, it truly is.
Another timeout. I mean, the problem is they're throwing that fake. There's no one there to actually initiate the fake, and they're making noise at top B, so they're actually giving up the fact that that's where they're going to attack.
Yeah.
And not only that, but if you're leaving a player in Boiler when you have a 4-on-5, you're actually reducing the number of people you have to take the bomb site itself and stop cold. 13-6, another timeout taken, another timeout ticking away. There's no more money for the offensive side if they lose this. AVANGAR is desperate.
With the bank being empty, AVANGAR have to win this next round, or Astralis probably bounce from 13 to 15 with almost without skipping a beat, really. Pretty decent grenade to the bottom. It might not seem like a lot. Oh, that's great though. That's Device hitting a shot on Kicker down to 8. But just again, for any new viewers, even the 13 or 15 damage done there is the difference when you're fighting AK versus M4. That evens out that fight. So a single headshot will do the damage, and all the M4s essentially become AKs at that point in time.
Well, I mean, I just think it's fascinating how far back on the map that AVANGAR is starting out these T sides. After getting blown up by the nades, they just don't want anything to do with it. They don't want to mess with it in any way. Now they've been tagged by the AWP, so James has to give over the op.
Flashbang at that corner. Glaive waiting for it. He hears the grenade. He knows that was their initiation to top banana.
Look at the way he's holding his nade, even with him being the only defender at that bomb site. He's not scared whatsoever.
Looked like Device could have got caught then. Texture in the background there, almost sort of masking the model, but it didn't. Now what do they do? Trying to go B this time. I mean, they've got the setup for it. Glaive, 30 seconds. Smoke timing is off the charts, and Sip is there as well. They still have a couple of flashbangs to buy even more time and trying to get through. Sanji down. The bomb is now on the ground. 22 seconds and another nearly impossible. Sip even through the smoke, just tracking him. Glaive trying to see if they get it done. And James will take him down, but can they actually win this one? A 2-on-4, or actually a 2-on-5 that now at least they're getting a bomb plant in. Kick it with the orb, he gets downed immediately. Make is somehow able to get that shot. And now it's all on James. He's low on health, and he's alone, and Device just edging him out. And that will be round number 14 for Astralis. AVANGAR, at least they get the $800 bomb plant bonus. I mean, it is a really small comfort, but that's the only thing we can really look at. My God.
Yeah, that is just so brutal. And that smoke that Glaive managed, that saved him holding his nerve. He hears them taking banana, hears the pop flash, falls into the site, and he knows they're jumping over car. He can tell the footsteps. They're not actually going to swing around the corner and attack the bomb site. And you almost dare them in a way. You call the bluff. If they want to swing and turn around the corner and just basically rush the B bomb site, you're risking what's on the other side. And AVANGAR had no idea it was just Glaive. He holds that smoke until it really messes with the timing of that hit. They have to come through it. Something that AVANGAR wasn't able to do, hold those nades deep into the rounds in the first half. Look how far back they are again. Buster and James not even messing with that main ramp. I mean, James has the op trying to find a pick, but even Kicker not turning the corner towards Banana whatsoever until just now, until he knows the nades have been used.
Looking at the way Astralis play, you can tell they're so far inside of their own comfort zone. There's no pressure being put on them to try and recreate anything or come up with something new. Flashbang at that corner, but Glaive is immediately back in. Could have hit the blind timing, but did not this time. They do fall. They do get pushed back a little bit further on the map this time. So top mid and top banana actually almost getting retook top banana now for Astralis. They're thinking about it. Device still lingering around here. Otherwise, oh, mid-air, but Sanji, great timing against Device. Magus now falling back, going to be putting up that Molotov to try and buy a little bit of time. A big opening here for AVANGAR.
And Astralis knows this is going to be a fake. They know that AVANGAR has to use any advantage they have, and that's taking out Device at the bomb site. They're rotating everyone here. They know the hit is coming. They know it's going to be everyone on the attack, and May just holding on to Pit perfectly. Zip to help him out. He does eventually go down, but like I said, the rest of Astralis here to defend. And off angle inside the site, and somehow AVANGAR coming on top of these battles. Zipnik's just waiting around the edge of the smoke.
He's been waiting. He's actually sacrificed to Pre to try and get more than just the one kill. And there he picks it up, pre-firing it. He knows Kicker is in there, and that's the bottom down Zip. The sacrifice was all worth it. He gets a triple, and now Sanji has to back on out. There's no winning the round. That's 15. That is map point for Astralis. He could have tried to help out Dupree in there. He could have done something. He was hiding at the edge of the smoke instead. It's pretty heartless, but at the same time, you see the result.
I think you're fine with it if you're Dupree. I mean, remember, he's one of the B defenders. Usually on those kinds of hits, he's not even supposed to be there. The fact that they had the read that it was going to be an all-in from AVANGAR after the Molotov faded is perfect. And a great recovery from Astralis. 15-6, they've got 9 chances to close out this map 1 of the Berlin Major Grand Finals. And against 3 pistols, the AWP on James, I think they've got a great chance, but another good find. Another good pick for AVANGAR, and they follow it up with Buster.
Spray through Zip, and the last bullet that he sprays had more in the chamber, but
that's just so stupid.
It is actually stupid. The opening is there for 1 second, and Zip rolls in. James trying to focus on top mid, the smoke to his left, and there's Dupree, in fact, taking down Sanji. So far, nobody knows, nobody has found out what does it take to stop this version of Astralis. And it's not like they haven't tried. I mean, a lot has been thrown at them even in this Inferno game, and none of it can be replicated. Whatever you find in one round, you can't do it in the next. Dupree walking in, and he wins the fight against the Dren. And now Kickert, he goes down to Zip, and that's 16 rounds to the 6 of AVANGAR, and Astralis winning the first map here in the major finals.
That's a brutal one. Very comprehensive in AVANGAR. I mean, again, we mentioned it when this began. You cannot start at an 8-0 hole against Astralis. You are not going to come back in that fashion. Starting on the harder side as well. So Astralis, I mean, you have to say one thing. Nothing super surprising has happened. Astralis have won their map pick. Now we get to see what AVANGAR can bring forward on their map of choice. And the birthday boy there getting a pat on the back as he exits the stage after the opening map.
Certainly so. An outrageous performance yet again. The semi-final yesterday looked amazing. This time it is still looking so unbelievably good. I mean, this is their map pick, but still, what it'll take to stop him, I don't think anybody knows. This is really something. Well, before we go to a break, we got our sponsor GG Bet with a video of a major-like battle.
Yeah, and then we're going to have the desk break things down afterwards.
You have desk as well, that's
yeah, they're
true.
going to be there. Yeah, so stick around for that one after this video.
Welcome to Berlin.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Mathieu, Maniac.
I've been playing Counter-Strike since all my life.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I'm 26 now, so it must be 20 years now.
It's the first time for me to do that. Like welcome someone, like you won the contest, we're gonna do all these stuff together. It's the first time.
Yeah? Are you gonna do the stuff with me?
Yes. Gifts you already have and you will have.
Yeah.
I have another one right in my pocket.
Ooh.
Like a magician. That's for you.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
What it is.
If it's a smartwatch?
We're gonna go through all these crazy activities and then at some point we will check and see, okay, how is your heartbeat?
The takeoff was fine.
Yeah, it was quiet, you know?
And when we gained some height, it was like Very windy. I think 120.
Oh, that's pretty quiet for acrobatics.
So beautiful.
Can you imagine this? This is for Counter-Strike. This is for us. Yeah. For our game. A desk. Yeah. And the desk, that is my home. I know about it. That's the desk. Oh, this is actually an amazing desk. I hope you had a nice time discovering the arena, and I hope you're ready for some sick Counter-Strike.
I'm very ready.
And this is going high.
It's high.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's 109.
109. More than 100 beats per minute. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe you can even use the machine and see so that we can hear that.
GG Bet, with gamers in heart.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.
Predict the outcome, win the game. Get live coverage and schedules for your favorite tournaments. Analyze, predict, and vote to gain points. Compete with other esports fans and climb the leaderboards. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on iOS and Android.
Well, clearly, Device wants to blow out his birthday candles as soon as possible and celebrating with a MVP-level performance versus AVANGAR. Hello and welcome back to the StarLadder Berlin Major, where the grand finals are deep underway. Inferno. It was Astralis' map pick, and they've reminded us as to why they wanted to take it there. A different map picked in every single one of their playoffs games. Sean Gares, of course, told me that one. He's not alone. We do have Duncan Thor and Shields and Chad Sponge Birchall joining myself, Machine. All right, let's rip this Band-Aid off right now. This was kind of what we were expecting, Duncan.
There's a reason why, even though NRG themselves have a pretty decent record on Inferno, they banned Inferno against Astralis themselves. Like, this is the map, like I said, it did not go away when Nuke went to, you know what, when Dust 2 had its problems, you know. Like, Inferno's always been there, because as you saw on that terrorist side, when you have utility usage like that, you're just getting free areas of the map you're not supposed to get.
This wasn't even a map where I thought AVANGAR played terribly. They went 11 for 11 in opening duels. I mean, everything seemed to go, like, decently well. The only 3 rounds they won that were massive individual performances from Adren and Buster in that first half.
Yeah.
It was an utter blowout, and that's because Astralis' mid-game and the way they react to scenarios is just way too strong on the map.
And speaking of game plans, I remember we've been watching the game together, and I didn't ask you, so I may as well ask you live with the microphones and cameras. AVANGAR buying 2 decoys on that pistol round, their T-side pistol, was that to try and bait out the CT utility early? They threw 1 coffins, 1 CT.
Yes.
Like, that's spicy.
You see them in the air, and it's meant to bait out any early smokes or utility in that regard, right? Yeah, so look, that's a nice little take on it, but when you're getting blown out of the water this badly in the first map of the series, which we even on the desk, and I saw Twitter analysts as well saying the same thing, oh, the map pool's not bad for AVANGAR. This is what we're talking about. This is why this is the biggest mismatch. This is why you should probably leave now to beat the traffic, because the next map's going to be exactly the same.
Someone missing. Who's missing? You talking about game plan? Where's the game plan? Where is he?
It's Inferno, you know. I'll let him off the hook for that one there.
10 kills.
I wanted to say it's a difficult map for an AWPer to find impact.
The
but
Device
exactly.
wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Never got the memo.
He didn't get the memo on
He started on
being hard.
T-side.
Did you see that perfect kind of like microcosm for James' game on Inferno, where he's been responsible for Banana for 40 seconds? He finally peeks the half wall. There's a deep smoke, and Device just
like, hey, this is what it feels like to play Astralis.
Straight through the smoke.
Don't worry, Cirque himself is going, I feel your pain, mate. It's different when you play against Astralis.
You just get shut down. I mean, you saw Star AWPers. First it was Cirque. That's a great point and a great contrast between the two. First Cirque, and you could see there's all these replays of head and hands. I'm sure James feeling something similar.
I mean, I sent out a tweet basically saying that all AWPers struggle against Astralis. And people responded, oh, what about MSL in this series? You can only name 3 series in the last, year and a half where AWPers have had successful series against Astralis. They just dominate you with utility and the way they peek common angles. They do so much research into what you like doing, and they don't let you do it.
Yeah, and research, absolutely one of the many tools in the toolbox of Astralis, as they are now 1 map away, ladies and gentlemen, from the grand finals, being the champions of the StarLadder Berlin Major 2019.
Dust 2?
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, so we should be on Dust 2 now.
That's Overpass, but we'll skip that for now.
Overpass will be the 3rd map coming up here, but Dust 2 for this one, this is where it opens up a bit, right? This is where JAM could actually find a lot more impact and be able to get into the server. Now, a couple of things that we've looked at with their Dust 2 is their T-side, when they get cat control, that execute they've been running. We talked about it coming into the tournament. They've been finding success with it here. Here we go. Here's the map we're talking about. Now, look.
A lot of play for AVANGAR. 16 maps played for the last 3 months.
That G2 one is the one that I always want to point out, right? Because they dealt with that cat execute time and time again, and they did it by playing retake. Now, I don't think Astralis necessarily need to do it in the same way. You know, there's the NRG game as well, and the way that they got away with beating AVANGAR was by picking them off before they could execute from cat, right? Making their life very difficult, harassing them with utility. These are things we have to keep in mind.
And not to breeze over that cat execute, there's been a lot of praise towards the A-take from AVANGAR on this map.
Indeed, so they'll smoke the CT spawn drop, and they'll smoke elevator. And the elevator smoke provides a one-way smoke for them, basically, so they can run off catwalk and have vision onto the site on people that probably can't see them very well.
Right.
And that's why it's so powerful. Their flashes are obviously superb, but Astralis has definitely done their homework, and taking catwalk is a huge difficulty when you play Astralis on Dust 2.
They have the double orbs, right? Dupree likes the big one up as well, so they're going to harass. They're not going to be scared. Why would they? They just blew them out of the water on that first map. They're only 16 rounds away right now from their 4th major, the 3rd in the road, the first team to ever do it. This is just too easy for the Kings. It's not going to be difficult. I can't see how AVANGAR are going to come back from that first map blow-up.
It's still Dust 2.
I know, but
it did beat Vitality on it.
That's fine. I also don't put Vitality on the same level as Astralis.
Well, we didn't.
Not in this tournament, at least.
Yeah, so here in Berlin, Astralis have come in, and they've come in so hot, yet so quiet prior to it. It has just been bubbling inside of them in pursuit of greatness once again. The Kings of Counter-Strike was a title affixed to their name for what felt like an entire year.
And remember, they're trying to keep that streak going. It's now up to 17 maps in a row in major playoffs.
17 maps, undefeated spree in major playoffs. I mean, we keep shouting these statistics at you, but sometimes you just have to take a moment to let all of that sink in. That is just one team. That is just 6 individuals, including the coach, Zonic. And now they are just one map away. Dust 2, though. And our analysts not necessarily convinced, but clear strengths and win conditions outlined for AVANGAR. Let's continue that list. I want to understand how I see a third, how I see the overpass, which we've already seen the statistics
I mean,
for.
one of the things I always liked about Dust 2, I'm often complaining about it because I hate it when the top teams pick it and they give the other team a chance, but it can become a very chaotic map. It's not a map that you just dominate only with utility. The other team doesn't know what you're doing at this point in time, like when Team Liquid played the Vertigo game, and you could see halfway through they knew it was over. Absolutely, you can get into messy rounds, tons of post plants, a player just goes huge out of nowhere, all of a sudden you get a few rounds, you're in it.
Odds from GG.bet, you can see once again favouring Astralis, and understandably so, as they have come in not only as favourites, but it seems the fans are always a fan of the underdog story. 38% of you giving AVANGAR some love on the Strafe app. That's on iOS and Google Play. Time for team talks, and I'm so interested to know what happens in those last moments. Astralis probably just saying, boys, don't underestimate them. We are one map away from writing history.
Yeah, so Astralis actually, I'm not even sure what side they're going to want to pick here, CT or T side. But on their CT side, what makes them so hard to deal with is they have such good protocols to stop long rushes and mid-B splits. And those are the high variance scenarios, in my opinion, on Dust 2 that a lot of the top teams struggle with. But you'll see them, you know, the Ts are lining up to ready to do a mid-B split, and they just get smoked off at doors. And then they stall out, and then they try something different. And then Astralis is there waiting for them at that next scenario. And they read the map so well. So it's going to be interesting to see like how AVANGAR can approach that.
And that read, we use that word and use it so lightly, but we've seen evidence of it in this game alone, where they just seem to have a complete understanding with very little cues as to what their opponent is up to.
We heard from Glaive yesterday after they won that match that, you know, he noticed something against the NRG game. When they threw those grenades, he knew he could push. That's the detail they have on every team. And going into Dust 2 right now, we've seen a lot of that from AVANGAR. The only way that they can win this one is if they force Astralis to play their game or make it nice and scrappy and hope their individuals can step up here and really perform on the big stage.
It's going to be such an impossible task for AVANGAR, but that is when the very best games of Counter-Strike happen, when it does look all said and done, when it looks like a guarantee. What are your final thoughts, Sean?
Yeah, I definitely think this is a map where James can come to life, right? He can get those catwalk picks. We saw him go for those B aggressions a little bit. He can go lower B on T side with his AWP. So it's so important that AVANGAR gets James activated on this map.
Yes, and that's what we'll go and watch, actually, because it sounds like it is time for our grand finals to jump into map number 2. Mercedes-Benz Arena, are you awake? Are you ready for map 2? A fantastic crowd, a fantastic team. Now Astralis versus AVANGAR venture to map 2. It's Dust 2, AVANGAR's playground. Let's see if they're up to snuff.
Thank you, Alex. Yes, indeed, we're ready here. Astralis versus AVANGAR, map 2 of the grand finals here at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Berlin. Jason, how do you feel about this upcoming game? It's going to be wild on Dust 2. Surely we can see AVANGAR do better.
You need Sanji to come alive the way he started out on Inferno. You need James to be really impactful. I'm just so worried that Astralis again is going to be a step ahead, and that is an unbelievable shot to start this pistol round. James already pretty much out of the fight.
Just as a reminder, isn't it? I mean, maybe good to have an early one in the game. Any little inch that you give, they might just take it all. Dupree falling back from the middle. That smoke is effective, and that's why you throw it at that box there, to make sure no one can see what you're really doing up towards the catwalk part and the A-bomb side. But now they're out in the middle, and they're actually quite deep into the middle with a couple of flashbangs. There's the smoke for CT spawn. They're still thinking about it. I think they're faking this, and then they're going to probably try and crunch the A-bomb side, because look at over at long where Sanji is. Are they going to be successful? Device still waiting with the USB. Looking to click. He's taking down one. Back around the box. He's still got a couple of bullets left. Remember, we know he doesn't use many. There's one more kill, and the last one, he's finally going to have a chance to reload. No! He does get the last one. A quick triple, and that will absolutely do it. James low from T-Spawn because Glaive took him down to 13.
I love that Device is just styling on this team at the moment. He is like actually going for almost cinematic plays. James trying to find anything. You can see Dupree not giving the chance for a headshot, just letting him know he's there, freezing him in place, and at some point James has to commit, and that's where Device finds him. A headshot again, overkill, and 4 frags for Device to start Dust 2.
Does almost look like he's going for the cinematic version of it. Could have probably reloaded in the middle of that.
Could have committed to a fight, waiting for the flashbang. It's everything he did in this round was just absolutely perfect.
Got 2 bullets left, and the last one is the one that he does it with. A single click to take James away. Well, in case you had forgot what things were like on Inferno, then, you know, we're right back into it.
Yeah, that reminds you real quick. In case AVANGAR was getting cheeky, thinking that they'd have a chance here. Astralis trying to quickly shut that down, and that's the thing, if Astralis goes on another big win, it is like the psychological warfare, like, guys, stop trying, like, you can't handle us at the moment. Through the smoke, Glaive and Adren facing off, yet to see each other.
I mean, that's a hard feeling to shake, right, when once it's in your mind that they're just so good.
Yeah, once it creeps in, it takes a hold, and it is not an easy thing to get rid of.
And in some ways, that feeling is actually responsible for a lot of what's happening inside of a Counter-Strike game. It isn't just, it's not that AVANGAR aren't mechanically good enough to be able to win some of these fights, but it all stacks up over time, and you just feel like it's too much. Sanji with a nice headshot, and the bomb has gone down, but a flank coming in from Dupree, and they have no ground with which to stand on. They're just completely out in the open, and you see the result right there. Astralis picking up a quick second round, but they get a kill on the bomb plant, and it could have been 2 more kills. Something could have been even better there for AVANGAR for sure.
Just a little. I think this map can swiftly run out of control. If you remember when this team played Liquid on this map in this very stage just a few days back, a lot of flanks. Pushing into Upper Dark, pushing through Long A, even when you know, advantages were found by the attacking side. I mean, the flank just always came back and evened things up, and you have to imagine they're going to be looking for those plays this time as well. 2-0, and the weapons come out in the 3rd round for AVANGAR. James has his AWP and some armor. There was a lot of discussion on the desk on the various ways that Astralis just shuts down opposing AWPers. And James, I think, got a taste of all of them on Inferno this time. No one from the defense challenges. They're fine letting them have control of this. Where are they?
A bit of a later retake, it feels like. So that means they're definitely going to check this corner. Got to give it to James. I mean, really, they don't have a great first map. And already just out, he's standing on top of the flames, and there's no backup there. That might have been the real issue. He goes down. A refrag, a sip is taken out, but still might not have been worth it.
It's a lot of utility used by the defense. Look at the players that actually take long. Glaive has nothing, Device has 1 smoke. All to get that opening kill. Now, they did do massive damage onto Sanji, and they've regained control of Long A, which is quite nice to have, especially because Device with the op can play supportive between the bomb site and the pit. It looks like he'll actually have a role to play in the end of this round as Buster and Adren go towards Catwalk. Kickert and Sanji for long. They're going to attempt to split this A bomb site. And a lot of it depends on how impactful these 2 players coming out of double doors can be.
Well, if either one goes down, you have to assume the next guy will fall not that long after, because they're sort of dependent on either one holding an angle each. 30 seconds now, and they're starting to make it. AVANGAR, oh, that's perfect timing. Sanji, and you can see immediately Glaive has to fall out of long. He's looking for that headshot, but Adren will take him down, and this is beautiful. Immediate save call for Astralis.
I'm amazed that just happened. I mean, great shots from AVANGAR, fair play, at least on Glaive. Device just went down for free. That's a rare mistake. You're not going to get many of those out of Astralis. I have no idea why they decided to call for that rotation. They were set up perfectly. You can play retake on that A bomb site, especially with the 4-on-4. You have Device with the op. Glaive just needs to hold pit, and you can manage that scenario. The fact that they swap out and Device doesn't actually look towards long is just exposing yourself for, you know, the exact thing that happened.
Very rare mistake. out of Astralis. So whenever you get one of those, if you're playing them, you've got to take full advantage.
You have to build on it. Look at this money that Astralis has. It's not a whole lot. $0 on Dupree, who's already got an SMG. This next round is a chance for AVANGAR to go out on an early lead on Dust 2, and that would be spectacular. That could get everyone going. It would be so cool to be able to see if AVANGAR can play with a lead. If they can build some momentum, if they can go on a run, if once they get that lead, we see that confidence come back.
I mean, this should be a very different style map for them in a bunch of different ways. The aim has really looked good on them. Jame with that AWP, just any kind of thing like that to fly off early on. But again, this is one of those potential heartbreak moments that we've already seen many times where you sort of have them almost broken, right? Bending about as far as they can in terms of the money, but if they win this round, then it's that you'll be the ones left with a weird feeling.
Good damage onto Dupree. 41 health.
Boost expecting some kind of a B-split here. That's why Magisk is in that position. They're kind of meant to counter the smokes that go in there.
Look over the smokes, and you can see Glaive as well long behind the double doors, and that can also turn into a very fast flank if there's any kind of mid to B split or heavy catwalk play. Doubled up in Goose is the rest of the A defenders.
That in itself is a very cool trick, because if you take out, well, they're going to sort of abandon it now, but if you take out one person in that position and you go to plant the bomb and you don't check for the second guy, and I mean, especially if there's low time, that'll be really rough. They're back into it again. If you look at the timer right now, that's the thing you should be worried about. If it goes below 20 seconds and they're still in that double position and AVANGAR go to plant on the default plant now,
they're in trouble.
That's going to be trouble.
Well, Adren also just used a smoke. Panic used it onto the Molotov. Didn't want to get forced into the open of any kind of aggressive play from the defense here, so that's one smoke they won't have for this take. Here come the two, so they can cross over to the corner. Molotov out. That's going to slow things down even further, and Device is going to commit to that next battle.
He needs to be a little bit aggressive so that he lets himself die before they actually check the corner. Adren going to go and look for it now. They're both weirdly hiding inside of the smoke. And there's Device. One good kill, but are they going to misread this? 12 seconds left. Zip lining himself up in the corner, and that's the trap. They planned it all along, and now they're almost out of time. 5 seconds. They go for the bomb plant. Magisk coming up with a kill. The bomb will go down in the last possible second as Magisk picks up a double, and he's not defusing yet. Instead, putting up a bit of a smoke. Kickert, he's got the right idea and lines it up for a headshot right for the smoke. Magisk is gone, and now Glaive on the other side. Kickert, you have to win this. No, but he can't. Glaive will take him down, and they will have enough time for the defuse. Oh, I mean, again, you see, it takes everything. And Astralis, they had that red, what, 30 seconds in advance.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. I was actually surprised as well. Device took a long time to commit to those fight, but it does work perfectly. Now, if you're AVANGAR, you're not out of it just yet, and I imagine this is going to be their timeout. You still have some fight. The plant is going to help with an extra $800. Not everyone is flush with cash, but you have to know. You lose a round where Astralis only survives with one player. Economy is still going to be on the ropes for that defense. You have to buy into this. This is your best chance to get a good start into this second map to stay alive in the major. It's actually an Astralis timeout.
Chance for Sonic, the coach behind them, to have a say, calm everybody down.
I mean, all things considered, despite how good Astralis, the decisions they made, how well that was played, I mean, there was still a moment there where AVANGAR had the player lead, had an advantage down the stretch in this situation.
Yeah. Oh, like it was so close. Jame nearly getting the shot through and tagging somebody. Won't get the kill through those doors unless it's a headshot, but oh, look at they might push up a dark.
Yeah.
And Sanji actually, he doesn't have the Krieg, otherwise this would be such an amazing fight. AK long range against the Orc, but he comes out heavily on top, and this is very good for Sanji. Heads up for him to check it and be aware of it. And Astralis kind of just being called out on this.
Yeah,
again, you don't see that all the time.
I don't know if Astralis maybe misread the situation of the money and maybe thought that AVANGAR might be saving, but they still have, oh my god, they brought Zipnix over as well, so 3 players aggressive total. Magisk is already down, but this 2-man setup, Zipnix can bait them right into Dupree's waiting arms. It's about to be a massacre, in these B halls.
They're not going to be expecting 3 people here, surely. Dupree goes down. That's pretty big, but there's the following setup. A simple takedown, too. That's a 3-on-3 with 48 seconds on the clock. Now they're bringing James back, Buster over at long, but look at Glaive. He's tired of waiting, and this is one of the features of Dust 2. This is actually a very tricky part of the map, which is you can really, really lose track of those CTs. A huge opening gap. He turns around. James might be able to shoot him in the back. No, he's run the other way. 2 more steps in that direction and he would have had it. Now Buster is out long, but that is a bit of a distraction. Is that going to cause Sip to move out of position? Buster going down and Sip now slowly falling back, but no. He thinks better of it. He's back in position. He's already got the double. Now they almost line up for him again. There's the triple, and now only 10 seconds left. Sip is doing everything right. Finally the kill happens, but he can't fake the bomb. He can't get off. A Device is going to be coming in from upper dark, and the round is done. He could never have planted the bomb there. Device gets a double, and Astralis will pick it up. I don't know how to explain how close these rounds are.
Yes, I mean, that one obviously super close. It's the tough part of being so split. That player at long really has nothing to do. I mean, he's got no utility. He's just trying to walk around a smoke alone against Device. Now is the hard part. And I mean, Astralis just the call, and that's, I mentioned it just a few rounds ago, those flanks that are going to come in. Glaive's so good at reading teams, so good at preparing for opponents, that he knows where he can find those openings. We've seen him in interviews say he's looking for certain nade stacks, certain nades to be thrown, and that's what he knows what's coming next, and how he knows to position himself. And obviously, the tough part is if that's going to be the fake, there's not enough strength behind it.
I would love a replay of how close it is for James to be shooting Glaive in the back over at long.
He would have got it if he went that direction.
He would have got it. He was moving in that direction from basically from T-spawn. I think he was just a couple of steps off.
Still, the money is low, and AVANGAR knows it. They're trying desperately to win this economic tug of war. Round 6, 4 players coming through these B halls, and it's Magisk. Oh, the nade timing might be a disaster. He's got to sink back into the site. Device bails him out, keeping space, picking up the first few players, and this is beautiful. The defense has recovered, and there's no pressure being applied by AVANGAR. Astralis is just so dominant.
If you get stopped right at the lip of that, hold on. Okay, that's
exactly what they did. And they just got wrecked.
She'd been waiting all along for that.
I know, she was waiting for the B
And that
rush.
was advanced level memeing, wasn't it? She's, I don't know, got a degree in memology or something like that. It's impressive. If you get stopped at the lip of that B bomb site and there are people peeking in through the door, there's one on the bomb site, there's one in the window, you have no idea where to look. And that's what happened to AVANGAR. They were just all sort of waiting there, and every time it was a new position. Magisk on the bomb site, then Device through the door, then Sip through the door. It just gets worse and worse. That's, once again, heartbreaking.
I think his Device with the first kill was the big one. To give Magisk the time to find safety.
Yeah.
Now AVANGAR slowing things down, and they don't have a lot of utility. One Molotov, one valuable Molotov used just now. 2 flashbangs, 2 smokes, and 1 more Molotov for this entire round. So AVANGAR, perhaps to their strength, they're gonna have to win some aim duels. The tough part is taking like an aim fight against someone like Dupree and Device with these ops. They're so effective. It almost feels like suicide, and Xyp9x now gonna get into a new position. And this one, we've seen it so many times in this tournament. It can gather so much information based off noise. Flashbang perhaps to force Device off the angle. It doesn't work, so James is just gonna lose. And now Xyp9x again, pushing forward, finding the gap, and acquiring more intel for his team to use.
I bet if you went and look at how close that grenade was to flashing Device, you'd be sad inside. Because it did bounce into the lane. It was off by not that much. Now Glaive, again, we talked about this just losing track. You're in the middle of rotating. Now Sip taking down Buster, and Device up here at the ramp does finally get shut down, but only 15 seconds left. And it's a 2-on-4. A bomb plant, I mean, it's going to help you a little bit. Sip not willing to jump for it, instead just trying to play this one safe, and that will shut it all down. 6-1. Oh, sorry, 7-1 it will be. No, they didn't even get the bomb plant down.
No, the nade came in and stopped it. So, yeah.
Wow,
Astralis,
so 6-1, but
it's just entirely crippling AVANGAR. But that, I mean, that's the thing. That op spot that Device is playing in, That's a very common defensive position these days. You need to have a flashbang. You need to have a protocol to force him off. And I think James is finally getting that lesson. I think it was Sean mentioned it on the desk. James in this event has been very good and very willing to just straight up take fights against Device with an AWP. You're not going to win a whole lot of fights just dry peeking into a Device who's holding an angle with an AWP.
No.
And he's learning that lesson the hard way.
Device is such a strange character when it comes to the AWP as well, because we've never really thought of him as like a main AWPer on the same level as has been on some of the other top teams, but oh, what a flick from Dupree. That's so quick taking down a Dren. But think about how Device in the past has out-AWPed people like Fallen even, who perhaps had a more permanent role as AWPing. So it's like he can do it in just in certain circumstances, and maybe that's some of what James is feeling right now. It's like
the utility is just so brutal. It's just a constant stream of grenades. Zip is going to get into position. Magus rotating over as well. Another nade coming in. More nade damage dished out. And now Zipnix spraying him through the smoke. It's just unfair. You are watching Astralis create a frag movie in front of your very eyes.
Oh, the truly jarring juxtaposition between those two teams. You see Astralis just sort of casually laughing and having a good time, and then on the other side, AVANGAR stone faces as they are just reliving the absolute beating that they took on Inferno. 16-6 the ending scoreline there, and it was a very similar opening here. Now 7-1 on Dust 2. It's AVANGAR's map pick, and again, in a very similar fashion, they have had a bunch of close rounds. That's so good, isn't it?
It's a thing of beauty. So is that. Just a follow-up HE grenade.
I don't know. Again, where are the huge openings?
AVANGAR at this time in the map has, between all 5 players, they have 0 utility damage. They have not dished out a single point of damage from HE grenades, from Molotovs.
Same probably said for Astralis.
Yeah, they are just absolutely crushing him in that factor. Oh, that's so brutal. Glaive out towards long, and the A defense is very strong. Even Dupree leaning in that direction with his position at CT spawn. He's got the AWP, and he's going to keep creeping into a deeper angle towards double doors. And he wants the peek, and he's going to find it. Kicker is going to go down, just holding with an AK-47, and Dupree is so quick. And I don't think AVANGAR knows what to do. They're still spread across the map.
I believe the desk for the first map even introduced this as sort of one thing, which is like, oh, Dupree hasn't been playing into the best tournament yet. So how much must it suck for AVANGAR if now in the second map of the Grand Final, it's like, now, well, here we go. Dupree back in action with the AWP. This is once again outrageous. 4 on 5 here in the 9th round. They're going to try and see if they can sandwich the A-bomb side. That's kind of worked before for them. They need to win one of these fights, either at the site or at long, and then they can open it up. 38 seconds as they do start to make their way up catwalk, making a bit of noise to try and distract, and a beautiful opening. Sanji taking the head clean off of Glaive, and now Sip moving a bit closer. He knows he has to win this fight. He's all in on this one. He doesn't get the kill, and Sanji instead with a double opening, and Magus, he's in position, but already tagged up in a Dren, pre-firing the angle. This is a great execute for AVANGAR, turning around a Dren, a big double. And now Dupree, 1 versus 2. Actually 1 versus 3, but he already got the kill. I don't know yet, probably not worth it.
I say go for it. You've seen everyone else on your team make a frag highlight. You might as well just go for the 1-on-2, get yourself one. But he'll play it conservative.
I mean, he would have had the money to go, but...
I was going to say, he's got 9,000 in the bank. No one else on the team is desperate. But you can't fault him for that. It's going to be 7-2, so AVANGAR get their second round, and both times they've won, both rounds they've won in this map have been with that 2-2 split. 2 out long, 2 out catwalk.
Oh, he just finds him. Adren was waiting for him in middle.
This is the other thing. I want him to go for it because I think it'd be cool. He wants to save his weapon and be smart about the situation in these grand finals, but he's also taking an extra gun away.
Yeah, so
still just keeping AVANGAR as close to the edge as humanly possible, even in defeat.
Yeah, that's something, you know, almost disgustingly robotic about Astralis in that sense. It's like, oh, we lost the round, but what's the most effective play now? You're still thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, we can still take one more gun away. That'll have an impact later on.
Very well could be in this next round. Nice 4-on-5 won by AVANGAR. Again, beautiful shots from Sanji as well. He was perhaps the one shining light for them on Inferno in the early stages. I think he had like 7 or 8 kills with the SMG in the first 5 or 6 rounds. Oh, this is fast-paced. Adren trying to get out. I think he was stopped by the nades. He's still going to win the battle. And the defense has to back away. Device has sunk back to car. Zipnik's retreated entirely over to Catwalk, where he has the AWP to contend with. And actually, Jay might be able to get the angle.
I'm glad Device fell back from that position. I was not a big fan of that at all. I think that's scary. Now, they actually are in trouble. Look at the speed behind AVANGAR. Normally, people wait a little bit here, but they've already thrown one of the smokes. They're lacking a smoke, so there's a huge gap here for Sip to wait. And finally, they're going to put up the second one, flashing their way through. And Sip, can anyone get him in through this? Is there a flashbang coming from a teammate? They could certainly think about it. There it is, charging through. Device to set up the flashbang. And Sip will get a kill before he goes down. 4-on-3 still with a bomb plant.
And AVANGAR can't lose this. 4-on-3. 2 ops as well for the retake, so Astralis, if May just goes down, they're going to call for the save on that AWP, and they might even just do it anyways.
Yeah. Maybe hoping that if the grenade takes someone down, then there's an opening.
Yeah, maybe a chance there.
Great for AVANGAR. This is such a difference.
And dupreeh sticking around again, much like the last round. Even in defeat, can you take any weapons away? Because the money for AVANGAR is still not great.
And he's aiming for somebody to jump. He's ready in case somebody tries to make the jump to go past. And he's absolutely got it. Kicker immediately out. That's, I mean, it's this time not as impactful. Still great for AVANGAR. Finding a third round. That is big. 7-3. Signs of life.
The problem is, because of the way Astralis is playing this with these early save calls and not actually losing all their weapons, is they're not actually getting close to being reset with the money the way it is.
No.
As this losing bonus builds up, they're still only rebuying like maybe 2 weapons, some utility, so they're not actually losing a whole lot of cash. They can just keep doing that and rinse and repeat until AVANGAR wipes them off the map. Timeout called from Astralis. They don't want to let this lead slip away.
Even the timeout is that's a decent way to, you know, not to sort of stop the momentum, right? Because obviously, if you're winning and you win sort of back-to-back rounds, you kind of wish the game would be even quicker, right? You're like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Now we've got some sort of formula that's working. So now you have to take a break here. And another thing is, when that A attack is working and Astralis take a timeout, you might be thinking, well, what if they're now defending differently? Like, is this the time where we switch it up? You could be mind gaming yourself even to some extent in some of these timeouts. dupreeh. He has got momentarily Kicker locked in the corner there.
He doesn't know. He has no idea. That could be so dangerous. He didn't actually spot it. He got there pretty quick, but Kicker was obviously faster. And it almost seems like AVANGAR wants to probe for a mid-to-B split. They haven't really won one yet, and it seems like Astralis is waiting for it.
Yeah.
Zipnik's and Magus in CT spawn. dupreeh peering into the upper tunnels, deep into it with the op.
They're waiting for it in a huge way. Glaive over at long, winning the fight against Sanji. Device falls off the ledge. I'm not sure if he might have even wanted to stick around for a little bit. I'm not sure if that was completely intentional. The Molotov, I think, would have probably, you know, spread onto his initial position. But if you can walk back and let them walk into it, that's not a bad way to deal with that. Bomb being picked up. That smoke right there that's been put up at the ledge could mean any number of things.
Glaive still holding in pit. That's a big win for Magisk. No one to trade. No one else even came out mid with the Dread. He just went and found the duel. Zipnik's rotating over. And I'm not entirely sure what the plan is for AVANGAR. It seems like they're not. They put Jame in the middle of the map to try and cut off rotations. He's done just that. But oh my God, the hops around. He somehow survived. And a big win for Kicker with the bomb. Now sinking back. But even if they go towards this site, dupreeh is still here with the op. The smoke is going to help only so much. And Glaive on a big flank again.
Waiting back here, the Molotov is out. dupreeh taking a lot of damage, but still taking Kicker with him and almost finishing the round there. 9 seconds. I don't think Buster could do anything. He can't really get the bomb plant down. As long as dupreeh's there, he gets the kill, but Device drops him. And there was no time anyway. Another round on the board for Astralis. I don't know. I don't know if it's reasonable to assume that AVANGAR has seen this yet, but there's been a number of rounds now where Astralis have had people on those boxes in the CT spawn, and they just threw that smoke on the catwalk ledge. Now, if you throw that, you can actually jump people from catwalk into CT spawn behind and go for one of those P-splits. And I don't know, if you know that someone's there, that's a play that might be worth going for. It's obviously high risk, but
they simply might not have it in their playbook. I mean, it is something you can kind of improvise, right?
Yeah, I would love to see that kind of a play. Also because they have, to some extent, they've been getting catwalk, right?
Yeah.
So if they can push them back catwalk, set up that smoke, have a couple of people waiting out in the middle.
Old school does too, baby. Yeah, give it a round of applause. It's a beautiful thing.
All of the memories.
A lot of nostalgia in the 20-year-old game that we all love. James gonna miss a shot in middle and still a double op setup. And that flashbang from Zip that we just saw, that might be setting up for a mid-peak later on in the half. He might just be throwing that now to get AVANGAR used to the idea, and now aggression in upper dark. Dupree leading the way with the AWP. This is a tough angle to deal with, though, but it's just a MAC-10. Dupree's gonna find the shoulder peak, and now it's the M4. Sanji was committed, and it's also a mid to be split, but there's 3 defenders here. I don't know how you get past this now that all the utility is being put up. AVANGAR's actually trapped. A rock in a hard place, I think is the phrase, because they have nowhere to go. They have to back off and go back into the double doors just to get out of danger.
Yeah, and look at where Device is. He's actually maybe even over-rotated. He just had a position in T-spawn where he could see everything. Have they mind-gamed themselves?
They might have. They might have with that flank from Device. That might be too much because now Catwalk is the point of danger and Glaive is the only one at the A-bomb site. Buster now is not an attacker. He's there to cut rotations. He is lurking, and he's going to find a lot of damage on a Magisk. What a weird round we found ourselves in.
Glaive, the damage spreads. There are some weird mistakes in this round for Astralis that we're not used to seeing at all. Glaive is the only one that can really ruin this round right now, I think. And James, nice shot to take him down. Device on the flank, and somehow Zip getting a kill on Buster over on the other side. A headshot immediately. Now Dren on this box. Oh, Kickert almost burning alive to a Molotov there, and Zip not missing a beat. Going to be taking down a Dren. Kickert now in a 1 versus 3 out on long. And again, he's going to get shot in the side 1 more second from now. Dupree's going to be walking in, and that's the round. Astralis picking up 9.
I can't believe Astralis recovered that. Device, he really hustled through lower B to get to Catwalk for that flank. That might have been the big one. Obviously, the Molotov into the site to force Kickert into the open.
Yeah.
What a weird round with how that played out. And I was actually very impressed that AVANGAR actually found a way out of that trap, because they were screwed if they stayed in middle.
And that, I don't think I've ever seen a round play out like that, where you have such a strong rotation towards B that you actually end up locking the CT side into the B bomb side, and then you end up going A. Battle for long again, more counter flashes coming out, and Magus gets caught inside while the rest of the team is retreating. Adren nearly could have found that kill, but they have the lead now, AVANGAR, and this is where you need, again, to build. Find a way to turn this man advantage into a victory.
Glaive, that tick of the flames might let Adren know he's coming, and I think it did. He was ready, Zip down low, but he has the trade that he needed. Dupree's been pulled out of the B bomb site to rotate over to the other side of the map, but he might want to get his position in the site back. With an op, they're going to be heading right at him, and he will have no support. Again, Dupree's going to have to deliver, and in this position in the window, it is so difficult to re-peek. One smoke in, thinking that'll stop them, it's not going to. And I think we're going to get another save out of Astralis. I think once you realize they've taken the B bomb site here, you just call it all off.
Yep, the money isn't really that great either, so does not feel like it's worth it. Grenade will do a tiny bit, but you are exactly right. They'll back it on out, and AVANGAR will pick up a 4th round.
I think that play might actually work if you're Astralis, if that smoke comes out before they're that progressed into the B halls. If you get it in maybe like 2 seconds when they're not already at the point the smoke plumes,
yes,
then maybe they kind of second guess themselves.
Yeah, because if you do that, you actually feel like, oh, they've read that we're coming, so they put it up. If you're standing on top of it, you're like, well,
it's more like it just simulates the fact that you have a defense there, right? He wanted to rotate towards mid, so maybe he could peek up mid, find a pick, or get information. It doesn't pan out in that fashion.
But once again, Astralis sort of losing a round, saving 3 rifles.
Oh dear. It's like,
what's going on here? guy's got the meme videos going on. Oh.
It looks like...
Is that a metaphor for
I was
this
going to
game?
say, it looks like AVANGAR's Inferno.
Oh, 9-4, ladies and gentlemen. Round number 14.
You have to like the way, I mean, there's been a lot more mistakes from Astralis in this map than I've seen throughout the playoff stage. But you still have to be very impressed with AVANGAR bouncing back after that disastrous first map. Device spots the jump, eats the flashbang, and backs away. Here comes the utility usage, though. Oh, they're just going to carpet bomb Catwalk.
One good grenade. Sip waiting a little bit. They're jumping down through the smoke to run towards the bomb site. Debris is there, and Sip shooting in the back, taking down Kickit. A 5-on-3, and Buster, he can't really see. He knows he's down there somewhere, but unable to find him. And Dupree happy to fall back. And actually, Sanji very aggressive to find that kill. That actually might be worth it. I was gonna say, normally that's a huge risk to take, but you maybe have to do that right now. If you want to take down Astralis, maybe some of these risks are necessary. They've got no more grenades left on the AVANGAR side, and holding on to dear life on this bomb site. 3 versus 4, and the Danes have all of the grenades, and they're going to try and see if they can take this round back and get to 10 in the first half. Sanji waiting up here. First victim in front. That flashbang doesn't really do that much. Dupree trying to set up another one, and Sip goes down. Glaive with one frag, and the turnaround. This Device will take down Sanji, and they are on the bomb immediately. It's close, but not close enough for AVANGAR. 10-4.
That is such a beautifully set up retake from Astralis. They controlled everything, even without actually being in the site. Glaive had control of Long. They had Magisk on top of the Xbox controlling Catwalk. They had everything set up so that AVANGAR could not escape the site. When the retake eventually does start, everyone from Astralis knows exactly where AVANGAR can actually be. And if you can't get out of that bomb site in a post plan on the T side, you're screwed, especially with the man disadvantage.
Yeah, it's a hollow victory when you get in there and you're like, yeah, we got the bomb side, the bomb is down. Well, we're not holding Long, we're not holding Catwalk, and now we're just actually in a permanent crossfire. Kicker gets the kill, but Device is quick to return as Sanji wanted to make his way around the corner, so 1-for-1 trade.
And look it again from the rotation. Device knows there was one more on Catwalk. He knows there's a lot of presence at Long. He cannot hold on to the A site, so rotates towards mid, and they might throw a few more bodies at retaking middle, because they're about to lose this A bomb site. There's one smoke on Buster, not enough for the cross, so it's gonna have to be improvised. It might be a fighting cross, and Dupree's got an AWP.
Device just heard James running back. He's now sneaking in over at Long.
No one's watching it.
And James just came from there. I mean, now he's thinking about it. He's looking for it. Paranoid, but you know, someone is out to get him, so.
Someone needs to get there right now. Device is gonna have the angle with an AWP. This is a disaster. James gonna go down here, and now, once again, AVANGAR is trapped. They have nowhere to go. They must kill Device. Double flash, close to the smoke, right around the edge. He knows the AK is there. Oh, what a flick! Sees the tracers. Here's the action, and he's got another angle now into the bomb site, and Device is just raining down death. What a problem. Restricting where AVANGAR can play. And they're all gonna fall. Device again with the deagle, 4 kills. He does go down, and Kicker needs headshots. They're just not there. Device is a god in this round, and a god in these finals.
Well, it is his birthday, isn't it? And right now, he is truly playing a phenomenal game. The flank coming in over at Long. You think it's enough that he can just get the kill and restrict that position, but he pushes up and gets another 3 kills. Make it a quad overall. 11-4 first half. We'll see what happens after the break in the second half, coming right up. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Second half, second map coming up here at the StarLadder Berlin Major Grand Final. Astralis and AVANGAR in a very, very tough fight right now, most especially for AVANGAR, who have, again, pulled out all the stuff. They tried almost everything. They made a bunch of things work and a bunch of close rounds. And in the end of it, Astralis still come up with 11 rounds.
Well, I mean, you have to give a shout out to Astralis. That's the style of play they like to bring in. All those saves that we saw on the CT side, yeah, it's obviously cool to see him go for the retakes. Dupree even saving in a 1 versus 2, but they never got reset. There was never a chance for AVANGAR to build 3 rounds together by, taking out pistols. Astralis always had the weapons they needed. Buster is actually going to continue to challenge. He's the only player at long. Oh my God! Get the hell out! Oh!
That's a check, and that's another one.
That hurt me.
Yeah, you feel the pain, don't you? 5-3 now. There hasn't even been a fight happening yet. It's just people getting essentially evaporated across the map. Device holding close here with the P250. And Danish corner down there.
Questioning why the AVANGAR corner is so quiet. Or, yeah, I think we all know the answer. James gonna try and recover, try and thin this out. Astralis hasn't even used any of the utility. And they have a 5-on-3. James, he's got to be careful. He could get caught in no man's land.
I think Glaive was baiting him. I think Glaive was baiting him to say, try and get a bit closer, maybe look for a kill. And yep, there it is again on catwalk as they rush closer. They wanted those Glocks right in his face, and now Sanji might face a huge problem here. He can't really back on now. Dupree jumping around the corner, and he will lose the fight. And James took down Magus, who's going to be the backup. Over at long, it's Sanji dropping Dupree, and that was over catwalk, but now it's still a 3-on-3. Device, he's got the health, he's got the P250 for it as well, and that bomb now making its way up. Glaive will put it down, so a full 3-on-3, and Sanji sneaking in. He's been a very good player so far for AVANGAR. He needs to save this round, and some great shots. Device absolutely out of it. How does he control that?
That's gorgeous from Sanji on the flank. You could see the thought process. Zip with low HP was just trying to jump out to bait for him. Take the attention, take the first couple shots, and Device with the P250 would be able to trade the kill, and it just doesn't work out. Sanji was already prepared and just had it pre-aimed. His aggression found him Device first, and Zipnik's just an easy cleanup afterwards. So pistol goes to AVANGAR.
5, I mean, now we keep saying this, they need to build. I don't think they have it all, right?
That was a 3-on-5 they just returned from.
Well, if anything is going to get your team fired up, especially given how that round started, maybe that's it. Scout, 2 Kriegs, 2 Deagles. This is not a safe round at all for AVANGAR.
Yeah, we know Astralis.
Don't jump.
So good.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. So
it
good in these situations. And Glaive and Lower B, I mean, Dren's lucky. He, like you just said, he's the one jumping for intel. Glaive has tagged him down to 58. Very easily could have been a headshot. And there's the rifles, and now Device has the wide angle. And again, what a dangerous run from Sanji. 3 players in mid for AVANGAR. They're going to have 2 defenders coming up on catwalk as Kickert, he clears out lower and upper dark. But Astralis still haven't hit towards long. And now the defense can try and reinforce itself, try and create something powerful at this A bomb site as Sanji sinks back behind the default plant boxes.
Yeah, this is actually a brilliant position for AVANGAR. They've done an amazing job so far in the round, just getting the information, setting up the right defense. They have a Molotov and a Dren that could really help out for an eventual bomb plant scenario, especially as the clock is running a little bit lower.
It's all right, these smokes, just the smoke that's used for the cross at the moment, that is designed to get this smoke away from Sanji. Everything going according to plan for Astralis at the moment. They've got the counter utility. Now a flashbang being used. They wanted the information, and they've got way, way more. And now here comes the real hit.
And that might have been a big mistake there for AVANGAR. They had all of the defense. Now they're a man short. More grenades raining in. Only 15 seconds on the clock. Adren has already used the Molotov, and James in the corner, though, going to pick up one and nearly takes down Sip. That could have been the bomb down, but Dupree with the headshot instead. Adren's going to get overrun, and Astralis will win the round somehow.
I mean, it's just such a masterclass. Astralis putting on a clinic. You know, you bait out the utility, they do everything properly, and AVANGAR every single way just did exactly what Astralis wanted them. They wanted that smoke to come out from the player inside the bomb site. They wanted to remove the smoke so they could not only fight him easily, but he can't put out the Molotov that May just throws into that position. So no matter what happens, he's gonna die. He goes for an information play with the flashbang. Again, what Astralis wanted. And now Device chimes in.
Game wanted something, but not that. Megis, his headshot being dished out by Kicker. 3 versus 4 here. It just looked like in that last round that if they'd done anything but go aggressive, they would have had the manpower to stop some of what was coming. Kicker wanted to do it again. I mean, he sort of almost had to try that. Now down the middle.
It's so hard to blame them because they've played so many, not only this map, but the first map going back to it, where they just have been destroyed. And you have to feel like if you're AVANGAR, how can we get an advantage? And that's to know what's coming, to go take a peek like that and see, at least have the information so you can rotate away or rotate more people there.
Well,
it's just way too committed of an information play. That was a wide swing out.
It was a wide swing, and in a different scenario, I think, you know, if they're up close and about to make the crossover, and Sanji goes to that flashbang, that probably works really well. But they were all the way down in pit, so he's just in the middle of the lane, and they're all there. And how do you do this? 13 and 5, Kriegs, an AK and an M4, and they have no money to fight with. AVANGAR, I mean, again, Astralis are hitting such an absurd level in this game.
Here we go again, just pistols to defend, and yeah, they really are. And this is them taking advantage. This is even a game where we talked about in the first half. We noticed like 2 or 3 rounds where there were some mistakes out of Astralis' side, which you don't normally get. Yeah. And they just dragging away in Upper Dark. For AVANGAR, the comeback must begin in the next round. I imagine if they have a timeout left, you call it. You talk things over, you come up with something. It's a bit sketchy for Glaive, turns around thanks to the footsteps in Lower Dark, another flashbang coming in. Certainly, he's got the last as well. Triple kill for Glaive, just 2 rounds away from their 3rd major title in a row.
4th overall, right?
And if you had any doubt that Astralis, this lineup, has been the best team of all time in Counter-Strike, they're certainly reminding you now.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion back and forth over time, but with this kind of evidence, I don't know what we can really say. 22 and 7 for Device on his birthday in a grand finals, 2 rounds away from winning it. It's outrageous. Finally, some weapons here on the AVANGAR side. I don't think we keep guessing as much as we want, but until they show us, we're not going to know how they can make this work. So it seems like even opening kills, that's not always going to do it. AVANGAR with a similar setup as to the one that Astralis were doing, with sort of 2 backed up in that A corner, and instead, it looks like Buster alone with an M4 here is going to be put to the test. And again, that just seems absolutely cruel. Up on the box, and Dupree probably going to be checking this corner right away. He's thinking about it, and there's the immediate peek in the shutdown, and might as well save.
That's such a
dip over at Lone, waiting for a Dren. Them in that fight too.
I mean, Astralis, they only hit that bomb site with 3 players. They were just so convinced they were going to find that, and what a dirty way to peek it. The guy close up, who's not even clearing the boost, peeks first. He's the first person to get shot at. And then the real peek comes in to clear those top boxes, and that defender, Buster, he's got nothing to do. There's no way he can win that fight. And Astralis, again, so much money, no more saving. Now it's time to take everything away from AVANGAR. Leave them destitute for the final round. Don't even let them fight to stay alive.
Yeah, they're coming for them. There is no mercy on this Astralis team right now. They know what these rifles mean to AVANGAR. It's all they have to fight with, and one of them is gone. It doesn't matter how much they lose here. Astralis just take the last bit away. As Sanji hits a headshot, it's starting to look a bit better, and Device unable to find anybody else through that smoke. So finally, there will be a little bit of respite here. 15-5, ladies and gentlemen. It is tournament point for Astralis. AVANGAR need 10 in a row to try and get into overtime. And I don't know if there's anyone, not even the 2% that are left, that could actually believe in that.
No, probably not. It's got to start right now with James. Kickert's going to be close up to the door. They put James in the B-bomb site with the AWP so they can stack more defense over at A. But Astralis, again, simplifying these tactics. Pop flash comes in. Kickert dodges it. Here's the turn. Oh, what a win from Blade. Sanji's here to try and pick up the pieces, but even he's backing away from the fight. Into CT spawn. James is all alone, and he doesn't know where to look, doesn't know what to pay attention. A missed shot, and he's gone. And Astralis delivering the final uppercut to knock out AVANGAR.
You can't miss anything if you want to even have a chance here. Sanji rushing up through upper dump. Dupree is ready to take him down. And now there's no more retake from that side. It's Buster and Adren. 2 versus 4. An impossible retake by any standard device will take down Buster, leaving Adren in a 1 versus 4. And ladies and gentlemen, they've done it for the 4th time! Astralis win the major in Berlin!
4th time overall, 3 total in a row. They have just re-established dominance. Forget the hiccup that was Team Liquid. Astralis seems back and in a big way. This playoff run is historic, and there are some of the fans that have followed them around the world. What a statement from Astralis.
Outrageous scenes here in Berlin as the fans up on the stage. I'm guessing family somewhere. I can hardly believe it. 16-5, 16-6 on the first map. One of the most dominant grand final victories we've ever seen in a major. And I guess it's no surprise that it's Astralis picking it up.
I don't think it can be after you saw them in the quarterfinals, taking out the semifinals as well, and here into the grand finals. They have been absolutely dominant, and they finally looked it. We wanted attitude out of this Astralis team when they were so dominant last year.
Yes.
And we've seen them now start to have that, start to take umbrage at some of the interviews being given, start to get pissed off when they are doubted. And this is the result of that.
Making the rounds in front of the crowd here at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Astralis looking like an indestructible team. I don't know what the next season of this will bring, but it's very hard to imagine what it'll take to bring them down. Having a great time with the fans who follow them. It seems everywhere around the world, a great portion of them. What a team this is, and what a legendary lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up once again for your champions, Astralis!
Astralis.
ask you straight up. You've done it in Atlanta, you've done it in London, you've done it in Katowice, you've done it now in Berlin. Talk to me about the feels. Talk to me about what it feels like to be Astralis.
It feels great, man. I have no words, to be honest. It's just like you never expected us to win here because we haven't won in a long time now. So coming to this major, we're just so surprised that we suddenly started to playing so well. So yeah, really happy.
Oh, really happy indeed. The smile over there makes me want to smile a whole lot, which is, it's contagious. I feel like there are so many smiling Danes out there. You've made family proud, you've made fans proud, and now the moment has come where you lift the trophy. Talk to me about what the naysayers would say. The ones that doubted you, what do you say about them? The people that have doubted you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been doubting us. Yeah, that's perfect. When we are down, but we will always climb our way back up. This time around, we want to stay for as long as possible. We want to keep winning. We're doing everything we can to stay on top. We'll climb our way back. We'll take that #1 spot again. And yeah, it will happen soon.
It will happen soon. It's a climb. It's gradual, but they're on their way. I want you to speak to the Danes back home in Danish.
Jeg vil gerne sige tusind tak. Tusind tak til alle sammen derude. I er fucking nice, og jeg håber, I kommer til at se os igen. Jeg elsker jer alle sammen. And all the other people in the arena, I love you all, and I'm so happy that you all cheered for us. Give a big hand for the best teammates ever. Thank you.
I have a couple more surprises for you guys. I want to invite the founder and CEO of Astralis up onto the stage. Nikolai Nyholm is in the house. Let's bring him out. Founder and CEO Nikolai Nyholm of Astralis. They have solidified, they have cemented their era. Nikolai, will you please come to me? Hold on, we got to get our hugs out of the way. You guys understand. It's an emotional thing. I want a few words with you. Is that okay, Nikolai?
Absolutely, absolutely. But this is the day of these 5 amazing players. They're absolutely fucking amazing, Coach Danny, and the entire performance team that's behind them. All of them in Copenhagen, they're here, they're cheering for them, and then all of the fucking fans in the arena on screen.
On stream, you got them at home. There's a ton of Danes right over there. I know they've been going rowdy. They've rushed the stage. They've taken their shirts off. They've done just about every rule-breaking thing that you can think of right now. But I'm gonna have to ask you guys to come on down for a group photo, grab your trophy, and let's take some pictures. In the meantime, while this is all happening, it's a very special day for a couple different reasons. Not only do we crown the major champion for the 15th ever CSGO major, we got a birthday boy in the house. His name is Device, so sing with me, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday to you.
Wow. Underestimated, but never overcome. The best to ever do it. 4 majors in total, 3 in a row. The first to do that. A quiet start to the year, but a loud statement to every Counter-Strike team in the scene. The Great Danes, eternally ferocious, relentlessly innovating. Berlin, one more time, your StarLadder major champions, Astralis!
We talked about their run in the playoffs at Majors. We talked about how absolutely dominating it has been. They have not lost a single map in the playoff of 3 Majors now in a row. Not only that, in the grand finals, they have only dropped, this is over 3 grand finals, 41 rounds. They have devastated everybody.
Yeah, it didn't look like AVANGAR had a chance today. Astralis, this is old school vintage Astralis here. They came back. They're here to stay. 3 Majors in a row.
Cliche from Rocky, it's not about how you get knocked down, it's how you keep getting back up, and they do.
Yes, to me that's the storyline. It's not that it's the greatest team ever and they're just continuing on. They had the hard period. They had the period where someone took it from them, where they weren't winning any tournaments whatsoever. This actually reminds me of when Fnatic came back to win Cologne in 2015. They'd been knocked off the top spot. TSM actually was beating them all the time. The envious guys had made their roster change. So I actually think the ones that you win when you aren't number one, that's what shows the character. That shows the hallmark of a champion. If you're number one, you're supposed to win.
I want to push this stat home for a second, right? 3 major grand finals in a row. That's 6 maps of Counter-Strike. I said 41 rounds. Maybe that doesn't really resonate with people.
Sure.
That's roughly 7 rounds per map that they lost. That's it.
To the second best team in the tournament.
And remember,
that's ridiculous.
The other team gets to pick the side that you start on when it's your map pick.
And you obviously have to play their map.
This is just dominance on a level that sometimes it's hard to quantify, understand. It doesn't resonate with you because you know what? It's so easy to dismiss it as boring, as easy. And I understand, you know, a close game is exciting, and I'm completely with you there. But the fact of the matter is that this game has been around, has had professional players for so damn long, and there is a gap like this in the grand finals. This team, Astralis, are the best to ever touch it.
Also,
ever do it.
listen, if you think it was boring, right, go watch Astralis versus NRG on Train in the groups. Go watch Astralis versus Crazy on Dust 2. Go watch Astralis versus Team Liquid on Overpass. Go watch Astralis versus NRG on Train and Overpass. These are some of the best maps in the whole tournament. They're amazing.
People love the underdog story, right? Because it makes us all believe that we can all do it. But here's the truth of the matter. If you work hard, if you get up every day, you prepare for your opponents, you give it everything you've got, you're going to win 3 majors in a row. Hard work, I would like to trump, you know, underdog story every day of the week.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, everyone loves a Cinderella story, but there's no such thing as a Cinderella story when Astralis is in the tournament.
Yeah, they are the angry, weaponized fairy godmother. It's crazy, and not the best analogy either. Still, let's move on. And we can instead, so we'll stop the laughs, wipe the smiles off our faces, because this is the other side of the coin. This is the story that you don't often get to hear. AVANGAR, a fairy tale story, sure, to the grand finals, but let's hear how it ended and what they're thinking. AVANGAR.
Thank you very much for that, Alex. Dazdan, I know how difficult it must be to stand here after that grand final, so first and foremost, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. I know this wasn't the result AVANGAR could have wanted, but still, this team has shown us so much. Such a young roster. They proved everyone wrong. Anyone that doubted them, you proved them all wrong by making it to the grand finals. Talk to us about how proud you are of your team.
Thank you guys who came today. Thanks all over the world. It was so long road. It was so hard, guys. It's so hard to fight to these guys in grand final. It's super team. Nowadays Astralis is strongest team in the world. It's I hope that you enjoyed with our game. It was long road. It was big wins. It's very important. Hello, world. Hello, Russian speaking. Hello, привет, парни. Спасибо всем.
The experience that this roster has gained has been so valuable. This was Sanji's first ever major, and he made it to the grand finals. It was Kickert, Buster, and James' first legend status. There's so much valuable experience. Talk about that.
It's big experience for us because it's first big stage for us. I don't know what to say. I even didn't imagine that we will play in grand final. It's like a fairy tale story. It's super nice. I don't know.
This crowd has loved you guys. The stream has loved you guys. Final words for everyone watching.
Thanks for everyone. Thanks to StarLadder, to all Twitch viewers. Hello, everyone. Привет, Казахстан. Привет всем, парни. Спасибо всем.
Give it up one last time for AVANGAR!
set the scene when we arrived here on the scene to talk about Astralis versus AVANGAR, as this would be the biggest upset in major grand final history. It wasn't, and I think that that's a conversation in itself. But AVANGAR, the run they have had here, Sean, we said it in the pre-match, I think it bodes well to say it one more time, has been a turnaround and an evolution. I love this word for AVANGAR.
Yeah, it's definitely worthy of praise, right? No one saw this coming, and the way that they evolved throughout this event, we keep going back to it, right? Their challenger stage, they squeaked through. They got a little bit better in the legend stage, went through 3-1, beating G2 obviously to advance through. And then in this champion stage, defeating teams like Vitality and Renegades, some of the hottest teams in the event. I mean, you have to tip your hat to them. They showed up every time when it mattered.
Now, of course, this becomes speculation, but Duncan, do you foresee the same fate of previous CIS underdogs or the grand finalists that were doubted for AVANGAR, or do you see some longevity within this roster?
I think it's unreasonable to expect them to be back in a major final or really contending for a major. With that said, unlike the Vegas squadrons of the world, which are kind of the infamous examples of the upset teams, they can potentially show more of this. They can become a legit team. Obviously, someone like James, actually, except for the final, looked like a pretty good player in this tournament. A whole bunch of them said they turned down the Na'Vi offer, so there's potential here within this. Listen, since it wasn't a great game, this wasn't like the biggest history moment on the AVANGAR side, the joke that I had was, everyone was complaining, where's the show match, right? We just had the rookies versus vets show match right there. Now we can get on with the final, right?
Yeah.
No, the thing is, jokes aside, like, if you were mad at this final not being great, first of all, Astralis is just really, really good. There's nothing to get mad with them, mate. Secondly, why is AVANGAR in the final? Because Team Liquid, the #1 team, lost to them in the previous stage in a best-of-1, because Vitality didn't do their job and beat them, because Renegades fell apart when it mattered most. So AVANGAR did their job. They beat everyone that was put in front of them except one team. It's the greatest core to ever play the game. I don't really look down on them for that. I think it's a pretty good performance overall.
And all of the stats we've regurgitated make that clear. Your winner is Astralis. And I don't think there's too much more to be said. I think everything else has already been spoken for. With this bracket on your screens, we did get to see the Vitality fall flat in the quarter-final. AVANGAR, of course, throwing that blow. Didn't stop there. It was Renegades to fall to them. Astralis, too much for them to chew, but still a tournament bracket that has got its fair shares of pits, and of course that rise and that meteoric high we've seen from Astralis.
Yeah, look, coming into this, it was difficult to put our finger on who were going to be the contenders. We thought it was going to be Liquid as #1. That was clear. Everybody had that in their back pocket, but they underperformed. They didn't live up to their own expectations. And look, you can say that for quite a lot of names across the board here. We're already seeing the ripples in the Counter-Strike world. Roster changes are happening as we speak. So waking up tomorrow, it's going to be an interesting day.
Are you boys ready to strap yourselves in for some, content and strap yourselves in for roster mania? I think Counter-Strike is about to get shaken up, Sean.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely crazy. I can't wait for the next 6 months.
Like the free agents we have available.
Have so many crazy teams built, but more importantly, seeing the development of teams like Energy and Liquid, Astralis, Na'Vi, who knows what's going to happen with them. We're going to be literally in the most competitive era of Counter-Strike ever.
It's only going to get up and up from here, but I think that is all we need to say. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We've managed to see records broken, whether it's the longest game or perhaps the fastest grand final we've seen. Either way, we've got both extremes at both ends of the spectrum, and we thank you for joining us and celebrating Counter-Strike again. The game's been around for 20 years. Here's to 20 years more. It's been an absolute honor, and we'll see you next time.
I just want to say thanks to everyone that's coming to the major and supporting us. It means the world. Even if you're back home in Australia and you're watching us online, I appreciate it so much. Thanks, everyone.
Just want to say to everybody that is supporting us, whether it is in the arena or online, that it matters a lot. We don't always show it, but we read everything online. Sometimes it hurts, sometimes it makes us happy, especially when we win. But you have influence more than you think. The words matter. And so we're extremely thankful when things go our way and when we have all the support, whether we win or lose. It is good fuel, and we don't always say it, but thank you.
I want to say thanks to all the people who are supporting this game live in the audience and all over the world, like watching the broadcast. Without you guys, this game wouldn't be pretty much anything. So you are the guys who are making this thing so big and so enjoyable for us, And just one big thanks to all of the fans around the world.
Whenever people ask me for autographs or selfies or whatever, it's always it's a really cool feeling. It's because I'm kind of like a fanboy for certain actors or whatever, and I was wondering what it would feel if I were to go up to an actor and be like, hey man, can I get a signature or whatever?
Я хочу сказать спасибо всем зрителям мейджора. Мы очень благодарны вам за то, что вы нас поддерживаете. И ребята всегда повторяют, что все эти победы, они для вас. Если бы не было бы вас, я не знаю, что бы мы делали.
So to all fans who arrived here in Berlin to watch the StarLadder Major, it is you guys who are the reason why we are able to live this life. It's a whole ecosystem, and the fans are by far the most important part of that.
Я хочу сказать всем болельщикам, во многом наши достижения ценны только потому, что есть вы. Поэтому вы для нас очень важны.
Astralis.